Coast. I'm going to guess maybe Hedman's the next captain, but we'll see. Also, Speck and Lowetide will be by a little bit later on in the show, and still working on potentially tracking down another guest or two in the 4 o'clock hour. So a few surprise late editions, which is always good. The big news today, if you're an NFL fan, Tua signs a 4-year extension, and he'll get paid $51.1 million on average over the 4 years. It's a huge contract. Quarterback contracts have gotten crazy in the National Football League. I get the position's important. I understand it all. At times, I'm rather perplexed by you can be a decent quarterback, not even great, and you will get more money than you and your kids and your grandkids and your great-grandkids and your great-great-grandkids will ever need. And it is, good for them. But it, when you consider all the things going on, at times you'd wonder, because it's all the fans who pay big money. They're watching the games where they get their big TV deal and everything else. I always wonder, do sports teams really ever get back a decent amount of percentage to their fans for different things? Honestly. That's just a random question on a pause of Friday. When you consider the billions of dollars that they make, are they really giving back what should be considered a fair percentage to their fans? Food for thought. So, because keep in mind, the 50-50 is from the fans. All they do is host it. They don't put in the money. So, there you go. But Tua, he's a good quarterback. They got some really, arguably one of the best receiving tandems in the league in Hill and Waddle. They got some good pieces. Tua at times can be a bit inconsistent. Still young. He's had some injury issues. That's a little bit of a concern. It's hard when it's concussions. It's such a difficult one because now Sidney Crosby has shown you can come back, different sport. But he had basically 3 years. Now, he had some whiplash issues and stuff that wasn't, that was causing a lot of the headaches. It turns out it wasn't necessarily concussion related, but they did a lot of work for a lot of time to figure things out there. And he's come back and is still great. And speaking of Crosby, 4 points shy of 1,600. He will be the 10th player in NHL history early this season to reach the 1,600-point plateau. Their first 3 games of the year, they're home against the Rangers. Then they're in Detroit the next night. And then 2 days later, they're in Toronto. So could game 3, Hockey Night in Canada, Crosby get his 4 points? Because you get 4 points on opening night against the Rangers in front of his hometown crowd. Now, I know 1,600 is still a massive deal to me. Massive. He's likely going to surpass Joe Sakic this season, who has 1,641. So then he'll be 9th. Up after that, Mario Lemieux, where not only would he pass the Magnificent One, he would then break the Penguins' club record for most points by a member of their team. Mind-blowing. And that's why if Connor McDavid signs an extension in Edmonton, which I believe he will, he's got a very good chance to break the Oilers' franchise record for most points by a player, which, of course, is the great one, Wayne Gretzky, over, 1,665, I think it is. Now, he did that in 9 seasons, which is just mind-blowingly crazy when you think about it. But still, record's a record, baby. And McDavid himself, I went over today, milestones, because there's a lot of big ones coming up this season. There's a chance that Ovi could indeed catch the great one. If it doesn't happen this year, it's going to happen next year. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Right? He scored 23 goals in the final 31 games of the season last year. Could he score 42 goals this season? Would you really be shocked considering he scored 23 in the final 31 last year? Could he score 42 in 82 games? Yeah, I think it's very plausible. Now, I know he started slow. He only had 8 goals in his first 43 games of the season. Then got red hot. So I'm interested to watch what the great 8 does this season in his quest Whether it's this year or next year, it seems inevitable that he's going to pass Wayne Gretzky for the most goals in NHL history, a record that many of us thought was never going to be broken. It's crazy to think. And so not like Ovi has that one. If he scores 20 goals, which seems like a guarantee, he'll become only the third player to have 20 goal seasons. Gordie Howe had 22. Ron Francis had 20. But that's where Ovi kind of starts to separate himself. Ovi has scored 30 goals 18 times. The only year he didn't score in his career 30 goals was the 56-game shortened season. Even in the other 48-game shortened season, he still had over 30. He had 30, which is crazy. But he had 24, and that 56-game season, he actually got injured, only played 45 games. But even if you prorate that, 24 and 45, he's getting 30 goals. The guy he's got the NHL record for most 30-goal seasons at 18. Likely could extend that to 19, which is crazy. Like 40 goals, he's already owns that record. He could extend that to 13 seasons. Nuts. It's unreal. And then, he also needs 7 game-winning goals to break Jaromir Jagr's record for most game-winning goals in NHL history. He's 50 points shy of becoming the 11th to get 1,600. Obviously, Crosby, I'm expecting to beat him there. He only needs 4. And then here's where Ovechkin, what separates him from a lot of the other goal scorers. Now, I know this stat has only been tracked since 05-06. But Alex Ovechkin is third amongst all NHLers in that time in hits. 3,600. He had 162 hits last year. He had 172 as a rookie. He's still a physical force. And if you look at the guys around him, Matt Martin, Clutterbuck, Luke Shan, there's other guys. And Milan Lucic is up there. Dustin Brown, decent goal scorer, but nothing like Ovi. And, he likely, if he plays 2 more seasons, will pass Matt Martin and be second all time in hits, who has 3,854. So it's great to see. By the way, I just looked this up. Jeremy Lauzon set the NHL record for most hits in a season last year. He had 383. Huh. Not bad. As I mentioned, Crosby, his 1,600 points is a milestone he'll be chasing. If he scores 30 goals, he'll only be the 11th player with 13 seasons of 30 goals or more. He also, here's a fun little stat for you, because trust me, I'm mentioning these. Oilers fans, pay attention, because Connor McDavid's probably going to blow past all of them down the road. Crosby is currently 10th all-time in multi-assist games. He has 242 games where he's had at least 2 assists or more. Ray Bourque, 255. Marcel Dion, 256. Adam Oates, 262. He's going to pass all of them this season, most likely. Mario Lemieux is second all-time at 282. So Crosby needs 43 more in his career games where he has 2 assists. If he plays 4 more years, might be doable. Now, Gretzky had 575 games with 2 assists or more. Even if it was only 2 assists, there's 1,150 points right there. It's crazy. With 3 assist games, Crosby has 63. Is going to pass Messier and Bourque and Francis this season, put him in the top 5. Again, he's never catching the great one at 224. So we mentioned McDavid. And so here's some of the numbers for you to watch for is, please don't say it's cup or bust, because we can't really talk about the cup until they make it, until they're in the playoffs. So the regular season does matter because you have to get to the playoffs. And I think they would like, and Oilers fans would agree, home ice advantage could be something rather important. How do you get home ice advantage? You have success in the regular season. So McDavid needs 18 points to get to 1,000. Obviously, he's getting it. It's just a matter of when. Now, he's played 645 games in his career. He is going to either be third or fourth fastest to 1,000 points. Mike Bossy currently is the third fastest. He had 1,000 points in 656 games. So if McDavid can get 18 points in his first 10 games, he'll be at 655 or less. I guess 10 games or fewer. Then he'll be third. He could tie Bossy for third if he does it in 11 games. If it happens to be 12, well, then he'll end up fourth. Still not bad. Now, Lemieux's at 513. Gretzky's at 424. Now, here's probably my greatest statistic about Wayne Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky's first 1,000 points, 424 games. His second 1,000 points, 433 games. Think about that. 2,000 points in virtually the same number of games. 424, 433. Anybody ever tells you, oh, it's because no one ever came close to those numbers. That is the greatest, most mind-blowing statistic of Gretzky all time. Not only is he the quickest to 1,000, he's the second quickest to his next 1,000 points. Like, what if Connor McDavid could get another 1,000 points in 655 games? Like, that'd be like, you'd be like, oh my God, that's unreal. So it's just crazy, the greatness of Gretzky. But McDavid, he's closing in some milestones. He's going to get 1,000 points. He's probably going to end the season, let's be real, with over 1,100 points, because I think if he's healthy, he'll score 118 points, almost with his eyes closed, which I don't take it for granted. He's just that good. Now, I dug into it. The Oilers' first 10 games. Winnipeg, Chicago, Calgary, Philly at home, on the road in Nashville and Dallas, back home Carolina, Pittsburgh, then on the road Detroit and Columbus. In his career against those 10 teams, McDavid has 341 points in 1,212 games, which is 1.61 points per game. He needs 1.8 points per game to pass Bossy. I definitely think he can do it. He's currently, I was mentioning those 2 assist games. He already has 179 of them in 645 games. He's 28th. He's well on pace. I mentioned Crosby's at 245, and he's played twice as many games. Now, I get that you slow down a little bit, but McDavid is trending, no question, to be over 300 games with 200-plus assists. Probably end up second all time. He's 22nd already in 3 assist games with 47. He's going to move past Bobby Clark, Peter Stastny, Guy Lafleur, Phil Esposito, Peter Forsberg, Doug Gilmour, Dion this year, and likely be 15th at the end. And then again, probably a pretty good chance he gets to triple digits, where only Lemieux and Gretzky are. Now, here's a fun little in-season. This is a one-season number he could chase. So McDavid, his most games with 2 or more points in a season was 45. He's done it twice, where he had 45 games with at least 2 points. Happened not last year, but in 2022 and 2023. Had 45 both times. Now, Gretzky, of course, owns the record. He has a top 7 spots. He's done it 10 times, 45 points. Lemieux, 3, Esposito, 2. McDavid's amongst 4 guys who've only ever done it twice, which is 45 games where they had at least 2 points in one season. So if you look at where he's at this year, McDavid's going to add to that. He'll be over 200 games already with multiple assists, multiple points. He's got a lot of things. He's also going to tie Marcel Dion most likely for third with the most 100-point seasons at 8. And if it wasn't for the COVID-shortened 1920 season where he had 97 points, and then they canceled the last 11 games, he'd already be at 8, and it would be 8 consecutive, which would be only second behind Gretzky. Huge impressive. So lots of other some milestones, some fun ones we did on hits and block shots and everything else. We want to check it all out. If you're a John Carlson fan, some Austin Matthews numbers in there. Leon Draisaitl, Jenny Malkin, Patrick Kane. Patrick Kane is trending to be the highest-scoring American player of all time. He's going to become the third to surpass 1,300 points this year. He needs 16 to get there. And then he'll be behind Brett Hall, who has 1,391 points, and Mike Modano, 1,374. I think there's a really good chance you could see Patrick Kane, if he plays 2 more seasons, he'll be the all-time top scorer amongst American-born players. So we'll get to more of those milestones. I always like looking at that at the start of every season. There are some unique numbers to really get behind. When we come back, we'll talk about the Elks. The Tiger Cats, the Tiger Cats are 0-5. They got to win. The Elks are 0-6. Can they get a win? We'll find out next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Be Melon Jolly, not melancholy. Summer is ripe for fun, and some Booster Juice bestsellers are back in season. Watermelon smoothies, including the refreshing Watermelon Wave, a berry burst of strawberries, raspberries, pomegranate, and vanilla frozen yogurt. And fan favorites, Watermelon Explosion, a refreshing burst of bananas, mangoes, and pineapple, both made with watermelon sorbet and probiotic yogurt. All of the watermelon, none of the seeds. Visit a Booster Juice near you today, or download the Booster Rewards app.
Rule number 116. In Waterton, walk with a lean. The wind will always prop you up. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instants, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days. Because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Are you an expert in flat roofing or sheet metal fabrication and installation? Albatross Roofing and Construction wants to hire you. Candidates must have SBS modified bitumen experience and valid CSTS certification. Enjoy excellent wages, benefits, and career progression. Submit your application at roofingalbatross.ca today.
The Brick is serving up incredible deals on items in every department. Find up to 25% off dining and bedroom packages, up to 40% off mattresses, and up to $840 off sectionals and sofas. Find everything you need to outfit your home this summer, from kitchen appliances and dining sets to mattresses and electronics. Take advantage of our amazing block party prices and fun family activities. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
My utility bills are going through the roof. How can I take advantage of the sun and put my lazy roof to work?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Energy team reporting. When you're ready to make your home or business more efficient, Action Electrical has the power to install solar panel systems and EV chargers.
Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta with supercharged skills and strong family values. ActionElectrical.net.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCafe. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Excludes delivery.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. The cheesy burger pizza is back. Beef, slicey dicey tomatoes, dilly pickles, ooey gooey cheese, and burger sauce. Grab it while it's in the summer for $18.99, only at papajohns.ca.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$2.22. Welcome back. Positive Friday in Sports 1440. Orders Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. We always love listening to Edmonton's only 24/7 radio sports station. So we appreciate you listening, watching online, streaming it, sports1440.ca. It's fantastic because we get to our football report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 full year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer long at legacyheating.ca. We are joined now by former member of the Edmonton organization as a player, as a scout, was, of course, a general manager, won a Grey Cup, was in BC as a GM, and is now the general manager of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who will fly to Edmonton tomorrow and then get set to take on the Elks on Sunday. Ed Hervey joins us. Ed, welcome back to the show, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Jason?
I'm good. Now, we are going to talk football, but then we're going to talk a little track as well with the Olympics coming up with you. So I want to get your thoughts. And I was looking at, like, if I just looked at the statistics of your team after 5 games, I'd be like, I don't understand how they're 0-5. Like, you weren't getting blown out continually. You weren't getting killed every game in the turnover department. The only thing I could see was maybe slow starts. What did you see as what was the reason why you were 0-5 in the first 5?
We were trying to go through that and sort that out ourselves over here. As you know, the CFL is a tough league, and We have a young team over here, but realistically, with respect to our season, there's a few games that we wish we could have back, that we could finish. We just didn't execute at the times that it required to finish. I mean, the CFL, all the games are going to be close for the most part, and when you are in close games, you got to execute and make the plays when they count. I think we were snake bitten early by a few slow starts and some performances that just were disappointing. But there's a lot of football left in this season, and we feel very confident that we can continue to build and work towards the momentum that we started last week, and we're just focused on playing one play at a time. And all these things sound cliche, but when you really watch the film of our team, at least for us internally, we could see where at times where the lapses would occur, and the shift in the game would happen, and then before you know it, we're behind, and we're in a position where we're scratching our heads as to how we lost the game. So we're just looking forward to the next opportunity to play this weekend.
You look at your team, and you've had some turnover. Veteran guys, Simone Lawrence and such, are gone, and that's part of the league. He was a pretty vocal player on your team. He's a leadership. Who's kind of taken over as leaders of your team?
I think that's a great question. When you look at our roster again with a lot of young players that we have, it's you have guys who have been named captains. I see captains as guys that go out and say heads or tails in the coin flip and all that other stuff. But the leaders are kind of built from within, and the guys generally follow those guys. And I think that when you kind of look at our team over the course of the first third of the season, obviously, Bo Levi Mitchell is one of those guys that people look to with his vast level of experience in this league. Tim White's a guy, our wide receiver who's been around this league. He's more of a leader of example than he is of words. And then you have the newcomers like Brandon Barlow, Casey Sales along our defensive line, Kyle Wilson. Those are guys that in our locker room that players tend to gravitate to, that are guys that have experience in this league, but also guys who have a measured demeanor about themselves. And you see a lot of the young guys are always looking towards those guys for all kinds of leadership. So I think it's still a work in progress, but those are some of the guys that I can name right off the top of my head that are showing that level of leadership that you generally turns into something really special. Those are guys we know we can count on if we need to talk to them about other things off the field as well.
Ed Hervey joins us. He's the general manager of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Ed, you've always been a big believer. You need veteran players, but also you have to incorporate some young guys if you want to win. The quarterback position is one that's it's challenging for young guys. Ricky Ray is rather an exception to that rule. Bo Levi Mitchell didn't have a ton of a time on the sideline before he became a starter, and it was obviously very good for that. You look around the league, we're starting to see a little bit of a transfer for some young guys, but what is it about Mitchell that excites you still at this age? Like, he's still averaging 300 yards a game. He's really seemed to kind of come back to more what he was over the past few seasons. Is it just because he's fully healthy again?
Yeah, I think that with Bo, I'm certain that if he were to speak with you, he would talk about his health over the last couple of seasons and just getting comfortable. I know he's had some tough luck over the last several years, and watching him this off season, putting in the work, getting his transforming his body and getting into the kind of shape that he knew it would take to play the season, and then watching him take command of the huddle and work with the young guys and seeing him perform at the level that we think and thought that he could play at. Now, again, there's a lot more that he could bring to the table, and I'm sure he would tell you that. But again, you always have to feel good for those guys, because as the pundits at times are throwing dirt on their careers, this is a great sport where you have the opportunity to not only prove the doubters wrong, but I think more importantly, prove to himself that he can still do it. And so far, he's been really solid for us, and just for the overall team, we just have to play better around him, and and he would have to also play better himself in moments. And hopefully, we can start stacking some wins behind that.
How do you view that position, Ed, and knowing when a young guy's ready or not at quarterback?
Well, yeah, I think when you watch internally with your young guys, you watch their practice. We're fortunate. We have a young man here by the name of Taylor Powell, who's played a lot of games for us last year and was thrusted into the position when from being the third quarterback and having played some time. So it's just the body of work that they have a chance to show you, the understanding the offense. I think a lot of it is what you don't see on the field. It's when you see the guys in here every day. The young quarterback is here. Usually sometimes he's beating the veteran quarterbacks in the building. He's here all day, has a firm understanding of the offense, and then what we see in practice on the daily, just the throws that they're able to make. That gives you confidence knowing that if you ever had to go and make a change or use him, or if someone went down, you feel really good about that. And if quarterback is really, arguably the most important position in sports. And, if you have a good one or a couple of good ones, especially a young one that you feel good about, it makes it a lot easier when you're calling plays for the offensive coordinator, I'm sure, but it also for an organization, you can feel good knowing that the future can be bright as long as you can keep them healthy and upright and surround them with the kind of players. So, we're just excited about that with our young guy. And, when and if he ever gets his opportunity, we feel that our guy is ready. And to answer your question about the other young guys, that when they're ready, I think that is part of it, is just having a chance to see what they're doing behind the scenes, because only one quarterback has the opportunity to play, and they have to give you the confidence in the day-to-day meetings, day-to-day practice settings, and all of those things. And I believe that is how you'll be able to determine whether or not you feel comfortable with a player going out there and showing what he has, but he still has to perform under the lights when given the opportunity. But if the preparedness is there and all the execution of everything done as far as practice, then you'll find what you have once they get the opportunity to play. And all the time looking at it, it's just young quarterbacks are hit and miss sometimes, but we feel good about ours.
Ed, you, of course, were in management in Edmonton for a long time, community-owned team. Then you went to BC, a single owner. Now you're in Hamilton, Bob Young, single owner. Being a GM in all three places, is there a noticeable difference from your standpoint at all as a GM from a community-owned team to a single owner team?
Yeah, I think, well, first and foremost, I think the expectation is the same. But when you're dealing with ownership, you have one-on-one opportunities to speak with the people that are in charge, right? The person that's in charge, and you can lay out your vision and all those things and go from there. And I think when you're dealing with community-owned, realistically, it's, in that situation, sometimes it's just how strong your leadership within the building, the CEO, and their relationship with the chairman and how much involvement your board has or wants to have with everything that's going on. And I think both models have proven to be successful. Obviously, look at Winnipeg, what they're doing over there. They're community-owned. Saskatchewan's community-owned. They seem like they're back. And obviously the private ownerships have always shown that their success there. So I think both models work. It's just a matter of who you have in place to lead you. I think that's a big part of it. And the leadership here is very strong, top to bottom, and there's no dysfunction here or anything like that. So we feel really good about what we have, and I can say that with private ownership here, it's it's good to come to work and know that everyone's pulling in the same direction.
I want to ask Ed, of course, I remember when I first met you and that's over 20 years ago. And Addo Bolden, the World Championships were here in town, and you guys had went to USC together. And you talked about how if Ed would have stayed in it, he could have been a world-class 200-meter sprinter. The Olympics are on. I'm sure it's something that's still near and dear to your heart, your track background. How closely do you monitor the track and field events right now?
Well, I was watching the World Track and Field Championships before they started, and the NCAAs I watched. Now, again, I couldn't name names anymore because we're so busy doing what we do, but I still enjoy watching track and field. It's still one of the one of the hardest individual sports to participate in, because just like any sport or anything in life, one bad start, one bad day, you can't have a stomach ache, you can't have a headache, all those different things, because there's a lot of people out there, runners that are really fast, and everyone is really trained for this moment. But watching it, anytime I can have an opportunity to see it, I'm gonna have it on. It'll be on in the background, and I'm just excited about the Olympics. I always love the Olympics. It's the pure sport for all those individual amateur athletes out there, except for the basketball and the hockey, I guess. But everyone else, every 4 years you get your opportunity. So just looking forward to seeing what it looks like, and how many gold medals USA track and field can get, and go from there.
When was the last time you ran a 200-meter?
Me? Oh, probably when I was training to play. So my last year was 06.
Okay.
I ran 200 meters, probably build up 200 meters, but I hadn't run them to compete since 95 was the last time I ran to compete. And, that was, back then trying to qualify for the world to go to the Olympics.
Now, because they have seniors and masters championships at any time. Like, would you ever have any interest in wanting to lace on the cleats again and run on the track?
No, I'm for certain that those days are over, Jason. The last thing that they need from me is 2 blown tires, hamstrings, and all that stuff out there. I don't need to do that. But when I talk with some of our receivers here and players, and a lot of them, I don't talk about myself. So some of them say, when they realize I play football, they're like, did you play linebacker? Did you play? What'd you play? And I tell them receiver, and then I tell them how fast I was, or if someone had told them how fast I was. A lot of them just shake their head, and they don't, I don't know if they believe it or not, but I'm just like, hey, I said in my prime, I always tell them in my prime, there's not a person on this football team that could beat me running, and probably not in this league. So,
what was your fastest? We're discussing this on the show. What was your fastest 40 you ever clocked in at?
My fastest 40 ever clocked, I was in Dallas. I ran 4:11 and 4:22 back to back.
Oof. What happened the second one? No, I'm kidding. But
the second one was the 4:11.
Oh, the second one. So you were just getting warmed up on the first one.
Yeah.
Well, so do you I know I talked to you about this before, and you had admitted openly at the time when you were doing track and field, if you wanted to go and be an elite level track athlete, you probably had to do a few syringe injections, if you know what I mean. Just that was kind of part of the sport. You've talked openly about that, and you're like, I didn't want to do that to my body. Do you think track and field now, is it clean? Like, can it be clean and the guys be this fast?
I mean, I have to believe so, right? Like, I have to believe, like, Usain Bolt was just unbelievable as a sprinter, right? And I just want to believe that they've cleaned it up, just because, like we had enough controversy in the sport, and it'll be tainted if you every now and then you have guys that are looking to cheat the sport. So I believe that the players, the runners the sprinters are getting faster. They're getting bigger. They're more powerful. Obviously, things have changed. Nutrition has taken the place of a lot of the foreign substances of the past. And yeah, again, speaking, I know you and I have talked many hours about track and field in the old days. And again, in order to compete back then, like to compete at a high level, just beyond just being a fast person, you had to look to experimenting with stuff. And if you remember, you go back to that time when I was running, a great majority of those sprinters were either under investigation or got in trouble for it. There was a very few that made it through clean, and those guys are guys that are celebrated today. But there's a lot of them that quietly went away with disgrace. And again, I knew what was happening back then, and it just wasn't that important to me, right? Like track wasn't that important to where I was going to go down that path. My passion was football, and I knew I didn't necessarily need to put anything in my body except, good meals, a lot of hydration, and just go out there and work hard. And, I'm proud of that. And I don't look back at the track and feel time as a time where I wish I had done something different. I just believe that, everything is the way it's supposed to be. And, my integrity is more important to me than taking foreign substances and to try to prove something in hopes that, I can win a gold medal and have to deal with the backlash later. Just didn't want to do it.
Ed, always good to catch up with you. Continued success in Hamilton. We'll see you in Edmonton on the weekend.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
That is Ed Hervey, the GM of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and he was ridiculously fast. My first few years covering the green and gold, back then, you were allowed to, if you wanted to watch the entire game as a media member from the sidelines, you could. And I don't know what, it was my third or fourth game, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I want to go down there and just kind of get an experience of the game. And so I remember standing at around the 15-yard line. And I went down there just for the start of the fourth quarter because, you can still see the game a little bit better when you're up above in the press box. But anyway, I wanted to experience it. So I'm standing at 15 or 20-yard line, probably 5 feet off of the from the sidelines, just, standing there watching whatever. And all of a sudden there's, the ball's around, midfield, maybe the Elks 40. They throw an out pattern to Hervey, catches it. And I'm standing there and he comes running down the sideline in front of me. And like he's running away from the defenders. And I've never been that close to somebody run that fast. And the sound that his body made was like, as he's running by you, I was just like, oh my God. Like it was that level of fast is freakish fast. Like that's why I would love, like, it's crazy. Like Usain Bolt was so fast, but on TV, I don't even know if it does it justice at how fast he was. Like I remember when the World Championships came here and we watched it. And even then watching the 100-meter final, you're just like, look how fast they are. And it just looks, it's like McDavid. If you sit in the first 10 rows and you watch him and he goes by, you're like, oh my God, like it's just different. But that running sound is something I'll never forget. It was ridiculous fast. And then of course there's like the sounds of the collisions and Doug Peterson. I remember Doug Peterson with one hand was like throwing 250-pound men around, like with one hand. Like he might have been as strong as Armando Sewell was in the gym. God, Doug Peterson might be the strongest player I've ever seen when I covered the league. He was an absolute animal. So strong. And yeah, Hervey's definitely the fastest guy I've ever seen live. Quick break. When we come back, we have Lori-Ann Muenzer. She knows a thing or two about fast on wheels. Olympic gold medalist will join us as the Olympics are officially underway.
Hey, Elks fans.
Jackpot! Touchdown!
Get on the Elks party bus for every home game at On the Rocks for only $35.
Included is a game ticket, round-trip transportation, and a prepaid Coors Light.
Reserve your spot now at ontherocks.com.
And OTR is your go-to for every Euro Cup game.
With $5.25 Heineken.
Their first major trophy.
It's the ultimate football experience.
Canadian or European.
Only at On the Rocks.
Jasper Ave in 118th.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you.
Call Legacy. Call Call Legacy.
For comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You adore your Audi, value your Volkswagen, baby your Beamer. But some of that love fades when repairs take several days and tons of cash for the dealership to do their magic. Let Cochran's Automotive rekindle the flame. They'll professionally repair your import, usually in 1 day. Audi, BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen, Honda, and Toyota. Cochran's Automotive will return her to mint condition. Open at 7 a.m. Let Cochran's Automotive repair your automotive air conditioning before things heat up. Cochran's Automotive, 780-452-5001.
Introducing the Female Super League. Female hockey is on the rise with more women playing the game than ever. Join us as we pave the way for the future of women's hockey. The FSL is more than a game. It's a movement and an experience for the motivated female athlete. Teams will compete in a showcase-style format featuring consistent interprovincial competition. Come be part of the journey as the 2024-25 season unveils a 12U division, as well as the launch of a groundbreaking progressive body-checking 14U division. For more information, visit femalesuperleague.com.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
What's cracking at Cattail Crossing? Every Friday after 4 p.m., it's 9 and Dine Fridays. Includes golf for two with a power cart at Cattail Crossing and a $50 food voucher at Out of Bounds Restaurant. Only $119.99. Tea times can be booked at cattailcrossing.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Get your Elks Party Bus ticket now, $35, which includes a game ticket, a ride there and back, access to the lower bowl party deck, and a prepaid Coors Light. Book your ticket now at ontherocksedmonton.com, Jasper Ave in 118th.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
So Friday, the opening ceremonies of the 2024 Olympic Games is ongoing. How are you? Hey, you know what? You probably got some big viewing plans for the weekend. You're like, hey, baby, I'm gonna do like the Winter Olympic luge. I'm just gonna do it on my couch and watch a lot of the Olympics. I love the Olympics, and my son's now old enough. I was explaining to him all the different events, and so gonna watch it. And obviously, I don't get to watch everyone. I'll be honest, I don't love every event, but there's definitely certain ones I like to watch. And anytime, I don't care what the event is. If all of a sudden it's like, oh, Canadians into it, we're into the quarterfinals or something, I'm like, okay, I'm watching. And I love it. We have one of our neighbors, Reed, who, of course, is a 16-year-old, the youngest member of the Paralympic team. So I'm looking forward to when he competes in August. That'll be a great time. Just because you know someone, and I'm just like his ascension into swimming has been amazing to see what he's done. So that's awesome. But I look at the athletes, and I like seeing people who achieve their goal. I'm a big fan. Like, I don't care what your goal is. When you see someone graduate from a university, maybe they're the first person in their family or what have you. I don't care what it is. They had some struggles, and I love that stuff, right? I love it. I don't care if I know the person or not. So the Olympics it's always fascinating. There's some unbelievable levels of athleticism, and there'll be some heartache for sure, right? Like, I always feel for the people who finish fourth. I'm like, yeah, like that's got to be the worst. You work so hard, you're that close. I don't care. You get a bronze medal, you're on the podium. That's stellar. Obviously, silver's a little bit better, and then gold, of course, is the best. But man, the fourth place finishers, I'm always like, that's gotta suck. As we welcome to the show somebody who actually knows all about the pressures, the joy, the pain, the excitement of the Olympics. Our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Rides Charter Company, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches that will safely take you or your group to the next destination. I actually saw one of their big coaches out at Specs Golf Tournament. They're out there to sponsor, man. I took a little tour, and it's unbelievable. So if you're looking to get your team on the road, go to silentrides.ca as we welcome in gold medalist for Canada in cycling, Lori-Ann Muenzer. Lori-Ann, welcome back to the show. How you doing?
Hey, happy Friday.
You got your Canada red jersey on. Hey, got to represent.
It's showtime.
Is that like from when you were at the Olympics?
No, I think it was from 2012.
Oh, okay.
It's red. It's Canadian. It's time to break it out, and it's showtime, baby.
Do you have like any memorabilia other than the medal from 2004?
Yep.
What?
I got clothes. I got a backpack from 2000 in Sydney.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of in the archive box.
All right.
And,
So you're not ever using it, but you're not using the backpack very often?
No.
Well, what about the clothes? Like, are they in like some sort of bag in your closet? Like in a suit bag so they're not getting wrecked?
Yep, they're in a special bag.
Okay,
and,
that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just when you get to the Olympics, that's the really cool thing is you have your regular clothes, you have your racing clothes, but then when you get to the Olympics, you have your Olympic clothes, literally, and it's a bag because before you leave and as it leads up to it, they ask you like what size socks you wear, what size shorts you wear, what size pants, t-shirts, tank tops, jackets. And you give them all that. And then this bag is magically, well, when I was there, it was placed at the foot of my bed.
Oh, really?
And yeah. It's
it's just like a kid. You come to camp and all of a sudden you got all this things you're on because you're obviously you want to wear your Canada colors the whole time.
Oh, yeah, you do. Because when you're in the village, right, that's how you tell everybody apart, right?
Yeah.
Team Australia is green, right? Canada is red and white. And there's different combinations. USA, red, blue and white. And it's so cool. And you try and keep your stuff. But then after you're finished racing, competing, there's usually swapping that goes on the clothes, right? You swap your t-shirt, you swap your shorts, or hats, backpacks, all that sort of thing.
So for you get different country ones?
Yep.
Would you have any of those?
No.
You didn't trade? You kept all yours?
I kept some of my stuff, but I gave away a lot of my stuff.
Oh,
and
okay.
The other cool thing that happens at the Olympics is pin trading.
Oh,
So
yes.
like Canadian flags, Alberta. I mean, it is an absolute frenzy. It is crazy. And just everybody's asking you for your pin. You got a pin? You got a pin? Yeah, pretty cool.
So the opening ceremonies went today, still ongoing as we speak right now. And very unique. They come in on the boats and, it was different. I have no problem. Some people complain. I'm like, what are you complaining about? Like, I don't know. It's the opening ceremonies. It was different. I didn't mind it at all. Then the rain came, unfortunately, at times. But now, like, it's here. And I know that the games officially began with soccer a few days ago and some other preliminary stuff. So there are some athletes that are already in the mindset of competing, but the vast majority aren't. And some are in the opening ceremonies. Others aren't because maybe they're competing tomorrow or even Sunday, depending on their timeline or not. But I have to think, like, whether it's the opening ceremonies or the first time you get into that Olympic Village, like that whole, it's here. And even though you knew it's coming, right? You've qualified. A lot of these athletes qualified months in advance. They know they're going there. But when you get there, it's different. And you want to relish the moment, but not get caught up in the moment. What did you like? What was the difference for your first time to your second time? Were you noticeably more relaxed? Was your head spinning the first time, even though you told yourself not to?
Absolutely. Yes and yes. The first Olympics was in Sydney, Australia in 2000. I did opening ceremony on September 15th. September 16th, night of day one, was my event. And I did the standing 500. So 500 meters, 2 laps around the track, less than 36 seconds. That's it. That's all. You have one shot. So it was a really big deal. But I went in probably about 2 weeks earlier. And it was a really good thing because of the preparation. And to be honest, Jason, the excitement, it's crazy. It's like Christmas. And you're just like, wow, what do I do? Where do I go? So it's all new. But the thing was, my coach said to me, Lori-Ann, when you get into the village, stop and look around you.
Okay.
And then get your camera out, because I always have my camera with me to capture the moments. And it was taking that moment and looking around. And then when I got into the Dunk Gray Velodrome, holy cow, it was like larger than life. And I literally went to the middle of the track. You come through the tunnel. I went to the middle of the track. I put down all my kit and my gear, my equipment, And I literally did a 360, but a slow 360, and just going, I'm here. And then I pinched myself really hard, going, am I dreaming or is this real? And it was real. The cool part about going into the Athens Olympic was I had the experience 4 years before.
Yeah.
Totally different country, different venue, but you have that experience. And it's that, for me, the second time is always a better performance. It always is. It always has been. I always say it takes me twice to get the hang of it. And I knew in my mind of what to expect. So I closed my eyes. I visualized it when I was in Hyères, France, watching the Olympics on television before I got into the village. And you just go through everything going, okay, where do I need to go? Who do I need to see? You know, we talked about it last week. The medical, knowing where the medical place was, doctors, chiro was my first stop. My second stop was massage.
So is this but it's not is it like Canada's chiro masseuse?
You betcha.
Okay. So you knew them before?
You don't know who's there necessarily.
Okay.
So I met Dr. Wilbur Kelsick in 1998 at the Commonwealth Games, my very, very first games. And I met him, and I was looking for a chiro because I always do chiropractic, physio, massage. I wanted a tune-up, so I wanted to see who was there. Got connected with him. He did all the track and field. I did 2 Commonwealth Games, 2 Olympic Games with him. So I kept going back looking for him. And then Sherry Gross was my massage therapist from 1998 Commonwealth Games as well. And I lucked out. They were the most amazing people ever. And they were the first 2 people I went to find out if they're at the games. And they were. And I thought, wow, if I needed a sign, there it was, because I knew physically I needed those little tune-ups, and they would take care of me, and they did.
How many athletes are they treating? Like, my God, they got to be pretty bagged.
Well, there's is it 337 Canadian
now, you
athletes?
said she was just, I'm assuming there's some that are just with the track and field, right?
Yes.
Some with swimmers. Otherwise, like, you couldn't be,
Yep.
they're all in different venues
Yep.
and different places. But still, like,
And
that's a lot of work.
It is. And there's more than one. There's a number of them. So they have their schedules out. If you want a massage, you pre-book it. If you want a chiro adjustment, you need some PT, physio, you've got to pre-book it, right?
Okay.
And it was just, they were my go-to people, and they literally were my rocks. And it was really funny because working with Sherry was awesome, but she actually kind of skipped out of doing work on August 24th because she came to see me race.
Oh, wow.
And it was so cool knowing that she was in the stands. And it was just, she was one of the staff that actually came after, once I got home and finished. I think it was about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning when I finally got home. I was so sick that morning because I hadn't eaten anything, all the adrenaline just flying. And it was just, okay, she got things sorted out for me and helped me around for a bit.
Lori-Ann Muenzer joins us. And who's that carrying the torch here, Deck?
Andre. No, that's flag.
Is that Zidane?
That's Zizou. Yeah, that's Zidane Zidane.
Okay. That's kind of what I thought. The great French footballer. So getting it right near. Then they'll bring in a few other big. Every country always has a few of their big names. I remember in Canada when they brought them in, which is very cool. So that's what they're doing now. So when you watch all that, like, I'm sure a lot of the memories come rushing back from both events, right? Obviously, you have a much more memorable one when you won the gold medal, but you still probably learned from the first one. So you had mentioned how for you were better the second time around. So are you a little bit in awe of the athletes who medal in their very first Olympics?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's just, everybody has a different story, and it's really cool. Like the profiles that are done on the athletes. I mean, if you haven't seen them, go find them, watch them. There's a lot of best kept secrets. There's a lot of hidden talent, and there's a lot of athletes that are just on that tipping point of they're going to have the breakthrough. And then you watch them, and it's like the media goes, where did they come from? And it's like, are you kidding me? They've been around for so long, but it's just maybe they weren't like at that pinnacle of their peak. And it's just, it always seems like a surprise. And I'm always surprised by that because it's not a surprise. They have been here for 4 years, maybe 8 years, maybe 12 years, but it's just the media doesn't do enough of, hey, can we have a conversation? Can you come on the show, right? Can we talk with you? And it's just, that's something that I think we need more voices like that with the athletes.
Well, I will, and that's fair. But I also say, on the other hand, I have reached out to many of them.
Yep.
And they might be the worst when it comes to PR.
Yeah.
And far as, hey, you know what? We want to get one of your athletes on to talk about, like, the Canadian women's soccer team might be the worst of any group I've ever dealt with for the last 15 years. Like, ridiculous. Right? We've had Gretzky, we've had McDavid, I have a Crosby, all big. We can't get a member of the women's national soccer team on the show to save your life. It's somewhat comedic. Now
I don't understand why.
Erin McLeod, we got her on, but we went through her personally. But to try to go through the team, like you have a better chance just to ask the player themselves.
Oh, just go straight
right?
to the horse. Absolutely.
It's ridiculous. That so
but here's the interesting
maybe they're
thing.
out there looking for drones. I don't know. I want to get your thoughts on that. As a like where how do you
next question?
Yeah, but like honestly, that's when you and then you see Rick West says reporting that this has been going on not just at the Olympics, it's been going on since 2021, right? In various different venues that they've done this, and I'm just like, why? I don't get it.
I don't know. Why don't you just go to the stadium and watch? I don't know. I really don't know.
Is now outside of performance enhancing drugs, is there other ways that people could cheat in cycling?
I don't think so. Or I don't know of it.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Like you can't really cheat on your bike, right? Because your bike has to weigh a certain amount. Is that correct?
Well, you actually take your bicycle and it gets approved by the UCI or the COC or both. You know, it's the officials. It's like you can't have too many sponsors. I had electrical tape on mine to cover sponsors because I had too many decals on my bike. So there's certain rules and regulations. Yes.
So you had to tape over the deck.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know basketball does that for some players. If it's not a sponsor and they want to wear a certain shoe, then they have to tape over their logo.
Exactly. And I think the reason why they said you have to tape it, the look logos, was because everybody was going to go, hey, look, there goes Lori-Ann. Okay. Bad joke.
It's like a dad joke. I kind of respect that. So can you give our listeners a little sense of because I'm sure you've talked to other athletes because, you know, you did your races, but then you're able to watch other events at times. But how can you describe that, whether it's euphoria, nervousness, excitement, everything, when you're on the start line at the Olympics?
Start line, adrenaline, your heart is about to explode literally out of your chest. There's no pressure. There's how many million or billion people watching you on television. There's a stadium full of, I think it's 3,000 or 4,000 people watching you. I could actually hear a pin drop. And Jason, you have to literally control your breathing to slow down your heart rate. And you're trying to be tough and big and powerful, right? And it is one of the hardest moments, but because you've done it over and over and over again, and then you've mentally rehearsed it, plus you've done other events, is you just have to not think about it. You know, we get pushed off. One rider is high on the track, one is low on the track. We switch it around for the second time around. You draw golf balls, 1 or 2, if it goes to a third round.
Oh, you have to draw golf balls?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, because you have to decide, well, who's going to start?
No, I knew that, but
because some riders prefer to lead, some riders prefer to follow. So how do you determine who goes first?
Now, when you get to the final, is it a draw or is it based on previous times?
It's a best 2 out of 3 rides. So you pick golf balls.
So you still in every race, doesn't matter who's the favorite, who's the not.
Nope,
you pick the golf ball.
Okay. Because what you do is, like on the first day of racing, they seed you first, second to last, and then they pair you up first and last, second, and second last. And then to figure out who's on the bottom, number 1, or who's high up on the track is number 2, it's literally like a Crown Royale bag and 2 golf balls. Yeah. And so as soon as you pick it, you don't mess around with the officials, because if you joke around with them going, well, I'm not going to tell you what I've got, they're pretty serious. So then you just hand them and tell them it's number 1 or number 2. And then you lace up, you get on your bike, you're strapped in. Now I had double toe straps on my bike, on my pedals.
Okay.
To keep my feet and shoe in the pedal so that I would not come out. Because
you didn't clip in?
God, no, because you twist, you torque, you're so powerful. I actually unclip because of the twisting and the torquing. that I've done.
So you just snap in instead.
Well, you clip into we call them rat traps. They were toe clips.
Yeah.
And then I had 2 straps. They were leather and they had Kevlar in between. You could literally make your foot go to sleep if you reefed on them.
Okay.
Because you do not want to pull your foot out because my bicycle has 1 gear, no brakes. So you can't stop pedaling and you don't want to lose 1 foot.
Yeah.
And then they roll you to your position. And then you go through your final check. Mine was check my helmet, zip up my skin suit, adjust my glasses, and give the ready. And then onto the handlebars, grip them, and let's go. And then you wait for the officials to blow the whistle, and off you go. And you only have 3 laps.
What was your favorite non-biking sport at the Olympics?
Favorite non-biking sport? Oh my God, Jason, there's too many sports to mention. It was just being in the village. I mean, Marnie McBean was there. It's like, oh my gosh, the McBean is here. You see the athletes. There were badminton players from Australia that I had met from the Commonwealth Games, and swimming was actually next door. So you could actually hear what was going on from the velodrome. And it's just, there's so much going on that it's impossible to have just one favorite.
Did you get to see any other events?
I didn't. No, I didn't. The only other event I saw was eating in the cafeteria, because it was cafeteria, it was rest, chiro, physio, and then to the velodrome. Well, onto the bus and then to get to the velodrome. Yeah, that was it.
All right. Well, we'll have some Olympic results to talk about next Friday, so it should be fun. Have a good week.
You too. Thank you.
It's Lori-Ann Muenzer, joins us every Friday, former Olympic, well, she's still an Olympic gold medalist 20 years ago, coming up this August. Let's get to Declan Kruger and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice. The ultimate summertime smoothie is back. Dive into a wave of refreshments with their watermelon wave. You can download the Booster Reward app and order yours today only at Booster Juice.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
And for your Sports 1440 update, we start with Toronto Blue Jays trade news in the MLB. The Seattle Mariners are acquiring right-handed reliever Yimi Garcia from the Blue Jays, according to ESPN. Coming back to the Blue Jays in the trade deal will be prospects Jonathan Clase and catcher Jacob Sharp. Other trade news between two teams that could be facing each other in the World Series this year. The Phillies have acquired outfielder Austin Hayes and will be sending reliever Sir Anthony Dominguez and center fielder Christian Pache to the Baltimore Orioles. Orioles staying busy as they have acquired right-handed starter Zach Eflin from the Tampa Bay Rays, according to ESPN. Tampa Bay will receive 3 minor leaguers in return for one of the top starters available, according to reports. News out of the NFL is the Miami Dolphins have inked Tua Tagovailoa to a 4-year, $212.4 million extension. CFL Week 8 action continues tonight with the Calgary Stampeders taking on the Ottawa Redblacks. Kickoff for that one will be at 5:30 p.m. our time. Baseball scores from around the league. It all gets going at 4:40 as the Guardians take on the Phillies and Twins take on the Tigers. Other games in action will be the Reds and the Rays, Padres and the Orioles, and of course the Rangers in Toronto taking on the Blue Jays. 5:07 first pitch for that one, and it will be Kikuchi on the mound for the Jays. One other piece of news in the sporting world, as Russell Westbrook has indeed signed a 2-year deal with the Denver Nuggets. The 2-year deal is worth $6.8 million with the club. In hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Sean Brown, our Friday co-host. We'll also be joined by Eric Erlandson of LightningInsider.com. I'm Declan Kruger, and this has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
It seems the price of everything is redonkulous. So at Wolf GMC Buick, we're trying to make it easy on your wallet. We have a huge selection of GMCs with finance rates starting at 0%. Wait, did I just say 0%? I did. And why am I talking to myself? Oh boy. The prices are fantastic, selection top-notch, and the vehicles, well, you already know that they're stellar. Get into Wolf GMC Buick now, just off the Anthony Henday. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCafe. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Excludes delivery.
In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form Action Electrical.
Action Electrical Divisions, assemble!
Projects team reporting.
Service team reporting.
Testing team reporting.
Energy team reporting.
Supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values. Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Hey, Leduc, can leading edge physiotherapy help you? Well, this is a question I face every day. Let me answer the best I can. Do you have a pain or injury to your toe, foot, ankle, knee, hip, lower back, middle back, neck, shoulder, elbow, wrist, hand, or finger? Are you dealing with a sprain, strain, fracture, tendonitis, bursitis, arthritis, dizziness, balance issues, surgery, whiplash, or headache? Okay, I can't list all the problems that we can help in leading edge physio in under 30 seconds, and I can't promise we fix everyone. But I can promise that we'll combine our experience, skills, technology, and hands-on care to give you an edge. Life shouldn't hurt. Find us at leadingedgephysio.com.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939.
How do you go about getting a drone through airport security?
Suits and offering a wide
Riddle me that.
Everyday styles.
Or do you go out and shop around Paris stores?
And the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton
Thanks
store
there, Jason.
explore
Everything okay? Can I?
Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer
Before
has
we
a
get
huge
going,
inventory
a
of
quick
new
word
and
from
used
Steve Hogle down at
semi-trailers
Remax
trusted by
Field.
the gravel,
The
logging,
Edmonton-
oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts,
Thanks there,
rental,
Jason.
and finance.
Everything okay?
You're in it for
Can I
the
drive?
long haul. Edmonton Trailer.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We are excited to announce that we now have machining capacity in-house with quicker turnarounds, improved quality control, and ultimate flexibility. Call 780-436-2000 or email colin@cantork.com to find out more.
He's not just another pair of glasses. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for checking out Edmonton Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Friday edition of the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Hope you're having an awesome day. Maybe you were watching the opening ceremonies of the Olympics. If not, you can watch it later on tonight. Again, of course, they'll recap that on, I think it's CBC. You can check that out. It should be great. Hey, Gregor, just a quick message to let you know my trip to Prince Rupert and back has been covered for the last 3 days, listening to you on the Stingray and iHeartRadio app. So thanks for keeping me company from Can Crush 65. I love it. Hey, that's a great thing about the app, man. Crystal clear wherever you want. You go all outside the province. It's great. So whether you're here or there, you can use it. That is fantastic. As we welcome back to the show, former NHLer, AJHL GM and head coach, and now, of course, is a skills coach, and not just off the glass and out either. Sean Brown joins us. Brownie, how you doing?
Good. This place is buzzing. It took me a little while to get a parking spot.
Oh, yeah, it's busy.
The mall's rocking.
Yeah, the summertime now.
Yeah.
Right? Kids are in, or kids are out, I should say. So they're in. And yeah, I do notice the parking lots on Friday are a lot busier than the other days. So I don't know if people are saving their shopping. Now, I always recommend people come during the week. It's less busy.
It's kind of nice coming here, seeing everyone. Right? People watch, see what's going on.
You're a big people watcher.
I
right?
love it. I love just sitting there having a coffee, watch people. My favorite thing to do. They look at you, look away.
You didn't anything stand out in your people watching lately?
Not really.
No.
I haven't been able to do a lot of it, to be honest with you. Just we've been kind of busy running around, but yeah, I don't know. It's just nice to see lots of different people and how everyone looks and acts, and it's quite interesting.
All right. Now, big announcement. This just came down. Alberta Day of Caring for Jasper will be coming up next Wednesday on July 31st. It's all radio broadcasters in Alberta have teamed up. The donations are going to go through Red Cross to help those affected in Jasper wildfire, as well as the Little Red River Cree Nation, which also is there. There's going to be a few ways you can do it. There's a province-wide bottle drive where you can be collected at local bottle depots. It will be added to the total. You can do monetary donations online at albertadayofcaring.com, and that'll be ready by Wednesday. So we'll remind you at the moment that's just officially been announced, and everybody's joining together to help all those impacted by the terrible fires up in Jasper, a place that many people have visited. Some of you regularly, some of you, if you're a skier or a hiker, you've been there probably multiple times for many years, family trips. I know a lot of people, it's kind of a home away from home that was just a great place to go. And to see the devastation, it was also refreshing to see that it didn't wipe out the entire town, but obviously wiped out some major parts of it. And residents have lost their home. They lost everything. It's awful. So next Wednesday, if you want to plan, maybe you got a bag of bottles you're planning on donating, maybe you want to wait. So you can do that coming up starting on Wednesday. So there you go. You must be in Jasper a few times.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I just had a cousin come out. He's never been out west, and he's never seen the mountains. So we actually just went up there just before the fires, and I've been there enough that every time you go there, it's still beautiful and amazing. But it's always nice when you bring people that haven't seen it for the first time, and you get their aha moment, and you see the look on their face. And it was just, we had a great time. And yeah, it's sad because that was one of the first places that my wife and I first. That was our first trip together, and I think we all have. Throughout our lives, I've taken our kids and experienced a lot there. So yeah, it's sad. But
you stayed in a motel though, didn't you?
No, I actually brought my camper. I actually brought my camper.
All right,
so, yeah, it was awesome.
On the back of your truck.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
So I brought the camper up there, and we went to what was it, Moline Canyon.
Yeah.
We did a little bit of hiking there, and then we went up. What was it called? Valley Viewpoint. It wasn't far from the Moline Canyon, and we hiked up the mountain there, and we weren't overly prepared. The good thing we had water and a bear spray, but that was one of the better things that I've done in my life. And I don't think it's one of those hikes that you wouldn't be able to do with everyone. Like my cousin's in pretty good shape, and we wind up getting up to the top, and it took us about 5 hours. And
to get up.
Yeah.
And then you got to come down.
And then we got to come down. And I was like, our legs were burning. And it was that hot day. It was on one of those hot days too. So yeah, they had the old, it's like
so
nature.
You did it was probably a little bit quicker coming down, I guess, but that's like,
I don't know what's worse, going up or coming down, because coming down,
it's hard. Yes.
Because your momentum would get going. There's loose gravel and stuff like that. So you almost have to pay attention coming down more.
Oh yes.
Right. But there was like fresh bear scat, and we had bear spray and stuff like that. But we got to a certain point where I was kind of like, if there's grizzlies and bears, like we're done, it's a weird feeling. Like I love nature. But I do like being around people, right? And when you get to a certain point,
did you have like a bell or anything to make noise?
No.
Well, that was the other mistake. They say you should have like a bell on your back. Like I always can tell because I was the rookie the first time, and I'm like, finally, why always people have bells? And I was like, you idiot! Everybody's supposed to have one for the sound. I was like, oh. So then you just kind of started, singing or talking, whatever. But you can't do that for too long; you get tired. But now you have a little bell.
You're talking as you're going up, but then you realize like you're in one, and it starts getting tired. And so I'm like, Ken, listen, like I can't talk anymore. Like I actually got to focus on what we're doing here, So, but yeah, it's you know what? It was interesting. Like we seen 3 people coming down, and they had like big backpacks. Like they had been up there for at least a couple days. And
okay. Well, that's the diehards. I was, I think I've camped overnight once in the mountains. Like we're actually, had the back. We marched into a place. You have your tent backpack, and I did it once. I'm like, you know what? It's not my thing. I'll go for a day hike where I can come back and I'm bagged. I don't care if I go up and down in 9 hours. I'd much rather do that. I just never. I've camped a bit. It's just not my thing. I don't love it.
Really?
No.
So when we got up there was actually 5 people, and there was one from Sherwood Park, and the 4 others were from the Edmonton area. But it was, I couldn't believe, number one, there was a campsite there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing there other than one picnic table and some cleared out spots, and but like it was really cool meeting them up there and having a chat. Like those are. I don't know if I like camping to that extent. It would be. I think I would like to try it, but
you got to go with someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, but camping for me, that was probably because I grew up with a family that didn't camp, and then when I met my wife, it seemed like everyone she knew and everyone out here did a lot of camping, and so we went out with people, but we are always kind of mooching off of them, right? Like hey, can we stay in your trip, whatever, And I was like, man, we need to get one of these campers, and it turned out to be the best thing that we ever bought. Yeah. The experiences that we had and what the kids had. I just sold it to a buddy because we've kind of outgrown it. We haven't used it a whole lot. And, but man, that was, we've been on lots of different family trips, but when we ask our kids what their best memories and trips were, it was always camping.
Oh yeah, no, it's true. I'm doing it because I keep saying, hey, I went as a kid a few times. I owe it to my son just to have the camping experience. No question about it. So we've actually done a few, but it's probably more glamping, if I'm being honest. Friends had a motorhome, so
motorhome.
Yeah, like we're out in the wilderness, but you got a motorhome, so it wasn't like it's.
you got different friends than I have.
Yeah, that's what I said. It was more glamping, and I'm like, he's got to sleep in a tent, where all of a sudden you roll over and you got a rock in your back. Like, God, what is going on here? Maybe you can class it up and get an air mattress.
But that's part of it too, 100%. Right?
Yes, that's the best part, and you want it to be a little cold.
Yeah,
right. All of a sudden. Yeah, because I remember we camped once camped a few times, but like once where we really out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
And there was you're sleeping, all of a sudden you can hear something. There was a cougar that was by and like nothing happened, but I just remember like a few of the people were freaking out. And I'm like, stop, it's not gonna cougars don't just maul adults, okay? Like, not historically.
I don't know.
Like it's very when you consider how many people are camping, Brownie. Like, there's one cougar attack all year, and how many hundreds of thousands of people. So the odds are extrely low, is what I'm saying.
For sure.
So, yeah. No, that didn't mean maybe we tried, and then rub the side of the tent.
I'm not like but I think
you're a little scary though, so I get it. Like it'd be great to camp with you because we just rattle your cage all the time.
I'm not. Yeah, like I said, I love seeing nature, but like I said, when you get out there and it's
and you can run though, because the key about camping is you don't need to be the fastest, just don't be the slowest.
Exactly.
That's the rule. Bring somebody that you can outrun. That's at the end of the day, that's self-preservation, right? It's like in the wild. Hey, slowest ones. Oh, Bob's there. Hey, Bob, you got to try to keep up, buddy.
Yeah,
Bear's gonna catch you before he's catching me. That's all that matters. I might be second slowest, but I ain't the slowest.
Yeah, but there's some pretty good campsites that you can go to.
Like I remember, Cypress Hills in Waterton. We went there as a kid numerous times. I loved it.
Okay.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
I loved it. We still have like the pennants. Remember in the late 80s, anybody who's there, you used to get the pennants that you put on your wall of all the teams and stuff. So I had like a lot of sports teams. Then I also had Waterton Park and Cypress Hills.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So they were great. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to go around the NHL. We're going to get your thoughts on, because I don't have enough time yet, because the answer's going to be a little bit longer. Your thoughts on Stan Bowman hiring and more when we return on the Jason Gregor Show. Positive Friday edition presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, it's Brad McCory here from St. Albert Dodge. I'm here to say you do not want to miss our final clear out of classic Ram 1500 trucks. It really is your last chance to drive a brand new Ram truck off the lot with 25% off. When these are gone, they're gone. Or how about a Jeep Wrangler with up to $7,500 in savings and 0% financing on every model? Come see how we earn our industry-leading 4.6 Google review rating. You're going to love how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Your Edmonton Riverhawks invite you to the last Friday night party of the summer, tonight at the ballpark. We're giving away 1,000 bobbleheads. Which player will you get? Come to the game and find out. Get your ticket to fun and watch the Hawks play at GoHawks.ca.
I take possession of my commercial space in 3 months. I need lighting. I need a fire alarm. I need data. I need a generator. I need panels.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Projects team reporting. We design, build, and construct all the electrical systems for your projects. Need everything to work right? Get the Action Electrical project team on your site.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Rule number 37. Elk Island mosquitoes don't believe in personal space. Keep bug spray ready at all times. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instance, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days. Because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCafe. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Excludes delivery.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
Look good, feel good, play good. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for listening to Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
326. Welcome back. Positive Friday edition of the Jason Gregor Show. How you doing? Hope you're having an awesome day. It could be even better if you go to playalberta.ca. If you're into the lottery, Lotto Max, $70 million up for grabs tonight, and 12 Max Millions. Good luck. Get your tickets at playalberta.ca. Obviously, stay within your limits. As we now go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's and their premium roast coffee. They've lowered their prices. Smalls are now only $1. Starts there. Get your best coffee, your favorite coffee right now for $1. Only at McDonald's. And hey, you know what? It'll be interesting in the off. Change is inevitable in sports. Some people are able to fend it off longer than others. But the Tampa Bay Lightning, who, of course, back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, went to 3 consecutive Stanley Cup finals, lost in 2022 to the Avs after winning in 20 and 21. And one of the big faces of their franchise, Steven Stamkos, and the Lightning couldn't come to an agreement on the deal. Seems like Stamkos wanted to stay, but they obviously made a decision that wasn't going to fit. So he moves on. And I don't know if it's fair to say a new era because a lot of the other key guys are still there. But a guy who's been covering them for a long time, Eric Erlinson, joins us from lightninginside.com, longtime beat reporter of the Lightning. And Eric, it's kind of a new era, but not really, because it's one guy, the band's gone, but the main part of the band is still intact.
Good afternoon, Jason. You know what it is? It's a facelift.
Yeah,
because it's a guy that's hey, I do write for a living. It's a guy who has been the face of the franchise for 16 plus years, right? Even before the 2008 draft, that whole Scene Stamkos marketing campaign that the team did leading up to the 2008 draft. And because it is a lot of the same core players, right? Victor Hedman and Nikita Kucherov and Braden Point, Andre Vasilevsky, and, a lot of guys that have been there for a few years that, helped this team win a couple of Stanley Cups. And, but it's very weird. I saw some of the photos from Steven's media blitz or whatever, his introduction to the Nashville media and everything like that. It was weird. For somebody who has covered him his entire career, that was strange to see. And the storyline's not going away, because when we get to training camp here in about 8 weeks or so, it's going to be even more strange, because seeing number 91 not in the locker room, not on the ice, it's going to be different. So it's going to be a transition year for sure for the Lightning without Steven Stamkos around.
Eric, what can you say about Julien Brisebois, and his ability to make a trade, and maybe, with Stamkos and how popular of a guy he is on the team and within the community, to actually make that trade? What can you say about what his character and what type of GM he is?
Well, we have seen in the past few years how bold Julien can be, right? Go back to trading a first-round draft pick for Barclay Goodrow, and everybody thought, well, who's this guy? He's trading a first-round draft pick for who? Worked out pretty good for the team in the end. Big part of 2 championship runs. The trade for Brandon Hale gave up a lot to bring in a guy who turned into a 30-goal scorer. So he's been very bold in a lot of his moves that he's made. And even in this one, right, where you basically you put a line in the sand and you say you're not crossing it. You can come on this side of it. We're not going on that side of it. And he knew that this decision, knowing that it wasn't going to be anywhere near market value, that if this player doesn't come back, he's going to take a lot of heat, and he knows that. And I think you have to appreciate how bold of a decision that is for a GM in his situation, that the face of the franchise isn't going to come back for the terms that you laid out. So he went ahead and did it anyway. The easy route would have been, okay, we'll give you 4 years at $7 million. Maybe you don't get the 8 that he got in Nashville. Maybe you get 7. We'll do that. And who knows what that's going to do to the franchise. But he went ahead and made the move. And then to top it off, he traded Mikhail Sergachev, to kind of change things around as well. So whether you agree with Julien or not, and there's a lot of people who are on both sides of that sense, you have to appreciate the understanding of what he knew he was getting into and not bringing back a player, not just the player in Steven Stamkos, the person, the captain, everything else that came along with it.
You mentioned Sergachev because, Stamkos is older and I can see the argument, but Sergachev is a young guy and essentially the guy they replaced him with is much older, who they brought back to the band, right? In McDonough. What can you tell us about the Sergachev? Now, I know they got Moser in that deal. What was it about Sergachev? Is it the injuries? Is there something else there? Why would they move him?
I don't think it was anything to do with that. I think at the end of the day, they knew cap space that had to be cleared up a little bit. And, Sergachev was going to be in the second year of his contract and the space that it was going to open up. I think that he looked at the value he could get because, we talked at least internally and amongst the Tampa Bay media and everything else. If you're going to open up cap space, who are the likely candidates? Well, it's Eric Chernak, right? He doesn't have the no trade protection that he's making 5 point something. Anthony Cirelli doesn't have the no trade protection yet. He's making 6 something. We didn't think of Mikhail Sergachev, but I think when you look at it from an analytical standpoint, which is what this front office does in Tampa Bay a lot, what's the value in return that we could get? Is it higher with this player? Is it higher with this player? Is it higher with this player? We didn't think of Sergachev because of the minutes that he plays. Right, 2 years ago, he had more average minutes per game than Victor Hedman. Mm-hmm. You could see what they thought of him, the trajectory they felt he was on. So I don't think that has anything to do with the injuries, his play, anything like that. I think they took a step back, looked at it, and said, we can get value for this player before his no-trade protection kicks in. So to get J.J. Moser, to get Connor Geekie, we don't talk enough probably about Connor Geekie, a high draft pick just a couple of years ago, who's going to turn pro. They haven't had that type of an A-plus prospect in the system for a while because they keep trading away their first-round draft picks. So I think that was the value they looked at it. I don't think it has anything to do with Sergachev's play. I think he's going to be a great player. I think he has potential Norris possibilities in his future. I just think they saw the value in what they could get back in return for him, open up some cap space, and they use that cap space to bring in Jake Gensel.
Do you think this was like a chessboard? So they brought back McDonough, and when they did that, that was the first time where they felt like maybe we're going to move Sergachev?
I think it popped into their head because obviously you have Hedman on the left side. You bring McDonough on the left side, who I think is still pretty good. I didn't watch him closely, but I watched him enough times, especially in the playoffs with Nashville. He still looks a lot like the guy that was here in Tampa Bay for a number of years. You can move Sergachev to the right. He's played the right side. He played a lot in junior. Yep. When they were winning cups, he would move to the right side late in games to be paired with Victor Hedman.
Yes.
and sort of close out games a little bit. I think they looked at all of that and said, well, can we have these three guys on the left side, or can we move Sergachev to the right? I just think with bringing back McDonough on 2 years, Moser's a pretty good defenseman. He played top 4 minutes, granted on a little bit of a lesser team in Arizona / now Utah. I think that they just looked at all of that and said, okay, we can bring in Moser, move the left side, and we'll figure out the right side. I think that's basically what it came down to.
Eric, I love hearing about like the culture of teams, and what can you say about Brisebois and John Cooper and the environment that they've created in Tampa Bay? Obviously, you know, with all the success that they had, but from the outside looking in, like, what do you see that they do so well with their culture and in their environment?
I think there's a lot of accountability. And I think if you talk to any successful franchise, the accountability that is created, I think a lot of times comes not even necessarily from the GM and the coaching staff. I think it comes from the locker room. I think the coach has a lot of say in that. What kind of accountability can the coach push into the locker room, and when can the locker room take that over? I think with what the Lightning have been able to do, because I saw this a lot, you know, trying to compare it to 2004 when this franchise won a cup in 2004 when Dave Andrushuk came in, and he created that accountability inside the room. Yep. I think that goes a long way, and I think that that's exactly what the culture, even going back to when Jeff Vinik first bought the team and Steve Yzerman came in and kind of gave instant credibility, and that started to create some of that culture. And then the players have to take it over. You know, so, you know, Stamkos took it over from Marty St. Louis and, you know, kind of built all of that. I think that's a big part of what has made Tampa Bay a model franchise in many ways. Obviously, on-ice success goes a long way towards that. But I think the culture has to be created within the locker room doors. And how do you hold the guy next to you accountable? And I think that's what creates championships.
Eric Erlinson joins us talking Tampa Bay Lightning. And, you know, Moser, and you mentioned Geekie, he probably gets overlooked as where he's going to fit in. So if you look at their lineup now, and specifically, who is going to replace Stamkos on the power play? Because he was still their big-time finisher.
Yeah, Jeff Halpern, who runs the power play here, has his work cut out for him. Because, you know, the Lightning have had one of the most successful power plays over the last handful of years. And it's a lot of it because everything runs through Kucherov on the right wall, Victor Hedman at the point, Steven Stamkos at the left, Braden Point in the middle. Those have been the four. And they've interchanged guys, whether it's Alex Killorn, whether it's Nick Paul, that have kind of played that bumper spot or the down low spot, rather. Now you don't have that weapon, that shot that's over there at the left circle. And they only have so many right-hand shot guys. Are you going to take Braden Point from the bumper spot where he's been so productive through the good part of his career and move him over to that circle? Well, he doesn't have Steven Stamkos' shot. Hardly anybody does. So that is going to be a big challenge in how they reproduce that because, you know, Jake Gensel comes in, and while he may replace the overall production of Steven Stamkos in terms of offensive numbers, he's a left-hand shot.
Yeah.
Their power play looks so different when there's a left-hand shot over there. So Jeff Halpern has his work cut out for him.
And goaltending, you know, Vasilevsky, once he got going, you know, Tampa was average, and then he comes back and they're great. How much of that was just on goaltending? And when you look at how many games that guy's played over the years, Eric, would they like to limit him to 55 to 57 starts in a perfect world?
In a perfect world, for sure. Coming off the back surgery last year that he had in training camp, missed the first 6 weeks of the season. You know, you always wonder how players are going to recover from that. And I think history has shown us that any player, especially goalies that come back from that type of surgery, usually takes a year to kind of get back to where you are. And we saw flashes of it last year with him. Especially in that run they made the second half of the season to pull themselves up into that playoff spot. You know, I think the hope, everything everything with this franchise. We can talk about the Gensels, the Hedmans, the Kucherovs. They're important players. There's no doubt. Everything is the backbone is Andre Vasilevsky.
Yeah.
If he can play at the Vezina caliber level that he did the first 5+ years of his career, then they're a team that can contend for a Stanley Cup. If he's an average goaltender, they're an average team. And I know you can say that a lot about a lot of teams in the league, but with this one in particular, I think with Vasilevsky, as he goes, usually the team goes. So I think the hope is that you're going to get, to that one calendar year. He's not going to be that workout freak that put him in this position because he hurt his back doing squats in the locker room.
Okay.
He's kind of pulled back from that a little bit. So I think the hope now is that after gone through this, having the full year, basically since the surgery, he'll be better because they need him to be better because everything they do rides on him. And that's not anything against Jonas Johansson when he played. I thought Johansson played well in the first 6 weeks of the season, but he's not Andre Vasilevsky.
Oh, no. Very few guys are. Very few. Eric, we really appreciate your time. As always, enjoy the off season. We'll talk to you again soon.
I appreciate it, guys. Be well and have a good summer.
That is Eric Erlinson, lightninginside.com. He's covered that team for a long time. And yeah, Vasilevsky, of course, is a backbone of that team. They got a lot of good players, though. There's no question about it. And I'll be curious to see, how it works on the back end. JJ Moser is a player where, you go, if you're a good NHL player on a bad team, it's hard you probably get underappreciated. Then you go on a good team and suddenly everyone's like, geez, this guy's pretty good. And I think that's what you're going to see a little bit with Moser. And Geeky's really the wild card. They haven't had, as he said, a good young prospect in a long time, nor should they because they've been a great team. And they got so many great finds later on in the draft. So it was bold, but I'll say this. What's one of the biggest mistakes teams make who win is their loyalty blinds them to what the future or more realistic what it'll be. And I think Brisebois showed you that Stamkos, Sergachev, maybe to a lower extent, you know what? You got to make some bold decisions if you want to stay being competitive rather than wait, and then boom, the wheels fall off. So we've seen that in Chicago and LA to an extent, obviously Detroit, Pittsburgh, and in other places. So I think that's what Tampa is trying to avoid. Quick break. We'll come back and we'll get Brownie's thoughts on Bowman and more on the Positive Friday edition of the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Cheesy Burger Pizza is back at Papa John's. See what happens when you ask for it? Boom! Finally, it's on the menu again for a limited time. Get all the items in the Cheesy Burger Trio or choose between the large Cheesy Burger Pizza for $18.99, Cheesy Burger Papadilla for $9.99, and Bacon Cheesy Burger Papa Bites for $8.99. All made with sizzling beef, dilly pickles, ooey gooey cheese, and burger sauce. That's right, burger sauce. Get it before it's gone. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Cheesy Burger Pizza at Papa John's.
The summer road lays ahead. Your potential
Thanks
destinations
there,
are
Jason.
endless.
Everything
Volvo Cars
okay?
Edmonton
Can
gives
I drive you
choice
home
to
tonight
match.
after the
right
big
now,
show?
List the 2024 Volvo XC90 from 0% for qualifying loyal customers.
Before we
or
get-
save $7,000 on all new 2024 XC60 recharge plug-in hybrid models. All demo vehicles come with a free 10-year, 1 million kilometer warranty. No matter what you decide this summer will become, your first choice is Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches. We provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier
Riddle
for
me
many
that.
local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle
Tested.
time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the word. Oodle Noodle time. Oodle Noodle time. You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance. Your best time of day is Oodle Noodle time.
CW Eves Troughing is busy. That's why they're looking for experienced troughers to run one of their trucks. To get paid top rates, contact CW Eves Troughing at 780-435-1492 or email info@cweves.com.
Hey, it's Scott from Sherwood and St. Albert Dodge. It's our final clear out of classic Ram 1500 trucks, and I do mean final. This is your last chance to get 25% off a brand new Ram truck. We still have some inventory left, but when they're gone, they're really gone. Or get an iconic Jeep Wrangler with up to $7,500 off. 0% financing available on every model. And we have a couple of the rare 500 horsepower 392 Wranglers in stock now. St. Albert and Sherwood Dodge, Edmonton's best rated Ram and Jeep dealers.
Diablo Boots has been open for business for 60 years, selling Canadian-made quality boots. Diablo has Canada West work, biker, and cowboy boots with fixable soles and heels. So why buy boots like Area, Justin, or Red Wing that are made in China? Get your money's worth with Diablo's Canada West tough, comfortable work boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. And does Diablo sell the best boots in town? You betcha.
Portions of this hour brought to you by AccuSteel Heavy Haul Trailers. Industry leaders in engineered heavy haul trailer frame repairs, retrofits, and rebuilds. Trust the experts at AccuSteel Heavy Haul Trailers and learn more at AccuSteel.ca.
He's not just another pair of glasses. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for checking out Edmonton Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Thanks there, Jason. Everything okay? Can I drive you home tonight?
$3:45. Welcome back, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. Positive Friday edition of the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Use the promo code SUMMER. You get a free $50 casino play all summer long. PlayAlberta.ca. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown with you. We'll get to Brownie's thoughts on Bowman in a sec. But first, let's get to the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home with no payments, no interest for 1 full year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer long at legacyheating.ca. Cam Tate, of course, longtime journalist in town. Cam was born with cerebral palsy, is in a wheelchair, has difficulty speaking clearly, has always wanted to be on radio, but now through the wonders of technology, his words come to life in the 2-minute warning.
Thanks there, Jason. Everything okay? Can I drive you home tonight after the big show? Before we get going, a quick word from Steve Hogle down at Remax Field. The Edmonton Riverhawks are welcoming Jasper wildfire evacuees to tonight's ball game. Opening pitch at 7. Okay, here we go. How do you go about getting a drone through airport security as someone in the Canadian women's soccer team? Riddle me that one, Batman. Or do you go out and shop around Paris stores, buy a drone, and then tell everyone it's a birthday present for your brother's best friend's nephew, who has a drone from every single country in the world, except of course France? And what better time than the time of the Olympics? Maybe there's a house sale, and before you take it home, you test it. There's the right word, test. Test the drone. Send it flying, or whatever drones do, over training sessions of the women's soccer team. The Canadian soccer team, open play Thursday in Paris at the Olympics. Who would ever notice? Here we are, on the day the Olympics were the opening ceremonies, with so much hope, with so many Canadian athletes ready to compete in their sports, with a strong will follow the rules to the T. And we ain't talking about a drone doing some sneaky work. If we subscribe to the notion of turning a bad thing into a positive, after all, it is Positive Friday, we'll take it. This entire goof, and let's be clear, it's a goof, has put a dark cloud over Canada. The positive thing can be that the Canadian Olympic athletes can take national pride and use the drone story as motivation to have the best Summer Olympics Canada has ever had. Medals all over the place. Better warn airport security. 2-minute warning with Cam Tate. Monday, Friday. Gregor Show. Sports 14.
It's 1440. Taylor might have cut that off at the end, but it was a goof. That's a polite way to say it. It's very... I still don't understand. And the thing was, it's not a one-time goof by the sounds of it. It's been an ongoing part of the organization, which is really terrible. And, hopefully this outs it. And the fact that it's gone on this long means it can't just be Bev Priestman. Okay, let's make that abundantly clear. It's gone on this many times. It's a little bit more rotten to the core in the whole organization. So, there was the accusation of Honduras, and they said, well, lots of people have drones. Well, turns out that's correct. A lot of people have drones, but not all of them are using them to spy on opposing teams' practices like Canada has for a while. So, it doesn't harm anybody. It's just it's a terrible sportsmanship look. And there's no reason to do it. Give me a break. You've got so much video footage now on teams and how they attack. It's not like these teams wake up and are like, ooh, we're going to get some magic super duper uber secret play that we've never used and unveil. It's not really how it works. So just dumb. And hopefully it's something that all those involved can learn from for sure. Now, Brownie, give me your thoughts. The Edmonton Oilers, it had been rumbling, early in July, and now came to fruition that Stan Bowman is the 11th GM in franchise history. What were your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I did hear about it earlier when it was just a rumor. I think that, you can't argue the fact that, what Stan has done and accomplished in the game and won the cups, whether, it was, what was it? There's the argument, was it Dave Talon's team or was it his team? At the end of the day, there's still buttons that have to be pushed from a GM's point of view throughout the season that he obviously pushed and they had success with him there. So that's exciting. I think it's exciting for the Oilers. I think that the bulk of the heavy lifting as far as the signings and some of the movement that's been made has already been done by Jeff Jackson, and he's done a terrific job at it. So I think what we'll see from Stan is, when the deadline, the trade deadline, and later on in the season when some moves have to be made, we'll kind of see where, what he's got up his sleeve and the buttons that he's able to push there. So that's exciting. I think, they must have had to put a lot of thought in the fact that, they know the history and what he's done. And it sounds like, to me, the professionalism of Jackson and his approach and only listening, I don't know him, but only listening to him in the media and the way he handles himself, I think they would have did a lot of work. And I think having Sheldon Kennedy there, to lend his support definitely helps. I guess looking, at the media and the tweets and briefly looking at some of the comments, there's a mixed bag. I mean, obviously none of us are perfect and we all make mistakes. And when is that time when we're allowed to get that second chance? I think that, is always, debatable for everyone. But you know what? They've hired him, right? They've hired him. He's here. And to be honest with you, I don't know enough of what he's done in the past, right? I'll just, I don't know enough of what he's done. I didn't follow it. I know a little bit, but I guess at the end of the day, they've hired him. He's capable of making and being in this position. And I think as an organization that's looking to maybe get that extra edge and that extra step, I think you got a guy that has the experience and should be able to maybe push a few buttons. And, anytime someone has done something in the game, I think it's a lot easier to build the belief when you're having those conversations with players or anyone in the organization and you're a winner, it goes a long way.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting, it's hard for guys to recapture success they had somewhere else. And because it's hard to win. You can do a lot of the same things. Like, I give Ken Holland credit. Now, they didn't win a Stanley Cup in Edmonton. They came as close as you could to winning. And the team he inherited to the team he left is way better. You can nitpick and not like some of the moves in between. Well, that's just reality. I could find every GM who's got some moves you don't like. But when you make enough moves that leads your team to be successful, that to me that's the whole goal. The goal can't just be to win a Stanley Cup and everything else a failure. It's ridiculous. It doesn't work that way. There's only one team who wins. So I look at, Stan Bowman, had really little to do with 2010 as a GM. Now, what I don't know is how much input he had in his 9 previous years in the organization before he came the GM, right? He was assistant to the GM, so I'm assuming he must have talked to the GM. Then he was the director of hockey operations and the assistant general manager. So if you're the assistant GM, like unless you're running a dictatorship, I would assume you and the GM are having conversations on some of the players you're signing. Right? Like that to me is kind of a no-brainer. So I think sometimes too much credit is given to a GM, the GM wins, or too much, he's done nothing because a core group was in place. Like, can we name a GM who won, who didn't inherit his core? Like Peter Chiarelli won in Boston, and he had to rebuild the whole defense. But Bergeron was there, Marchand was there, Lucic is there, Krejci. So their main forwards were there, but not their defense, not their goaltending. So you go down, look at Tampa Bay. Julian Breezebot, he didn't build the whole team because you got to go way back to, none of them were there when they drafted Stamkos and they drafted Hedman, right? And then they drafted Kucherov in 2011, and then they won like 10 years later. So there's no GM who ever builds. I guess you could maybe make the argument like Edmonton because they were 5 years in under Glenn Sather, right? But they didn't draft Wayne Gretzky. That trade happened even before as a GM. So that was a pretty important piece of it, right? Like you can never say that there's no GM who wins who doesn't have to make some moves, but also has a benefit of having some good players in his organization. And unless there's someone out there can tell me one, I can't think of one.
But I also think, for me, why not promote within?
Oh, hey, dude.
Right?
Like if it wasn't the right decision, that's debatable. Well, I don't even know. I said at the start of the month, I wouldn't have done it. Right? I wouldn't. To me, there's a few reasons why I wouldn't have done it. I was like, well, is it worth it? Is he clearly that much better than everyone else? And this is not to disparage any of the GMs, but now when you have collaborative and you've got 7 or 8, 5, 6 people, I don't know, because you're director of amateur scouting, he runs the scouting. So his decisions are really going to impact your future of the organization. Maybe he drafts really good players, so then you can use them as trade bait, or maybe they help your team. Either way, that's a pretty big piece, right? Then you have your pro scouts. Like, it's not like your GM does everything, right? He kind of oversees it all and has got to take all the information and make a decision. There is a skill in that, no question. But I'm like, is he that much better than all the other guys based on what happened that you would do it? Obviously, Jeff Jackson felt he was.
Yeah.
Right. And so, hey, that's Jeff Jackson. It's his hire. He lives with it. He says people are entitled to their opinion. That's fine.
Yeah.
And he's truthful in that, right? Like that's, you had to make a hard decision or an unpopular decision. But to me, now that the decision is made, my whole focus turns to, does Bowman and the organization live up to all the stuff they talked about in the press conference about awareness of sexual abuse and harassment and bullying, and what are they going to do to actually walk the walk? And if they do it, then great, because then maybe they're actually making bigger strides in things that are actually more important than hockey in the world. And I love hockey, don't get me wrong, but I think we can all attest like there's a few things a little bit more important than that. Lowering traumatic experiences for humans would be a great thing. So we'll see. But I'm with you. Like I wouldn't have done it. I wrote that. I wrote that. Wouldn't have done it. And it doesn't mean that I don't think Stan Bowman's not worthy of a second chance at some point. I just thought this is the best GM job in the league. Didn't think that was the first one he should get. That's just me, though.
And I felt like they were a shot away or a couple minutes away from winning the Stanley Cup, right? And so Keith Gretzky and Ken Holland had everything to do with that. And so for, I think, we try to develop players within our organization. I would think that I'd like to see the approach maybe of developing, your GM. And to me, he would be the next guy in line. I think he's, paid his dues and he's got a ton of experience and, would be more than deserving of the shot. But to me, it'd be very similar too with coaching, right? Bring in the American League coach and have a succession plan in place where so that, the message is somewhat consistent in the culture and the environment that you're trying to create. I think we could do as an organization at different times or with different organizations, do maybe a better job of within. Like what does Keith Gretzky think now? You put in all that work and you're hoping to get that shot. right? Everyone's going and wants to eventually get there.
Yeah.
And now you don't, now you bypass him. What does he do? What does he think?
He's got 1 year left in his contract. So now maybe he resigns, right? Like there's still only 32 assistant GM jobs too, right? So I'm sure it's hard, right? You take your frustration, whatever. There's lots of people out there that have felt like they were in position, had done a lot of work in an organization. They were ready for the promotion. They didn't get it. And then it's up to you to say, well, do I stay here? Because if I didn't get it now and Stan Bowman signed a 4-year deal, I don't see him going away instantly. So, now, and the other thing is, does Stan Bowman rehire him? Right? Because now I would assume the GM's going to have a say in who his assistant GMs are, right? So Brad Holland and Keith Gretzky each have 1 year left. Bill Scott just signed an extension. So, those are two other things now because usually, Brownie, when somebody new comes in any business, if they're higher up, they have the opportunity to hire their people.
Well, and that happens all the time in hockey. That's going to come. I mean, everyone wants to bring in people that they can trust.
And sometimes they might keep the people that they're there because they get to work with them. Like, you know what? Hey, we really jive. So that happens, right? Like, look at Chris Knobloch. He didn't pick any of his coaching staff, right? He didn't really even pick Paul Coffey, but he really likes them all, and they're staying.
Yeah.
So
is Coffey staying?
Yeah.
I thought he was only going to do the 1 year.
No, Paul's. I talked to him. I don't know what day it was, but yeah, he's pretty confident he's coming back. I spoke to him right after the season. He admitted he was pretty tired and he kind of needed to recharge, right?
Yeah.
But he had so much fun doing it.
Yeah.
Felt like obviously the team had some success, but it's the old unfinished business. Like, had they won, maybe it's a different thing, right? Because you know how that is. It's like, oh, we won, and hey, I've achieved everything, and this is great, and you know what? But yeah, so my understanding is yes, he'll be back, and Stewart and Gulletson, and so they'll all come back together. And so who knows? Maybe after working with Brad Holland and Keith Gretzky, and you see Stan Bowman's like, hey, I really like these guys. But at the same time, I won't be shocked if you see some people that he worked with in Chicago that come to Edmonton.
So where does Brad Holland fit in this now? Like,
well, he's still assistant GM.
Yeah.
He has the same role.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's kind of their head of pro scouting. So that's because they had 3 different GMs, all have different responsibilities, right?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that Stan Bowman had said he was going to sit down and meet with all his management people and get to know them. And that's what the next few weeks are for. I guess now it's all up to the owner, right? Do we fire Brad Holland, even though like we've had a really good run here? Why would we fire him with a year left in his deal? And then we got to pay him and then we got to replace him. Like that doesn't really make sense to me.
Well, and that's something you got to be careful too, right?
Yes.
If anyone coming in is making too many changes to something that is so close, and ruining the chemistry or the dynamic that's already there.
Like I would think that in part of his conversations, Jeff Jackson would have said, hey, you know what? If you're coming in, I want you to give the opportunity to get to know these people. And you know what? Hey, after a year, then maybe we can make some, we can look and see if things are right or wrong or what have you. And away you go. And then now the tough one about that is let's say the Oilers go on a deep playoff run again. The jobs for other positions open up once those teams are kicked out of the playoffs or they don't make the playoffs. So, and your contract ends on June 30th. Well, if the Oilers go all the way to the Cup final again, well, now you're talking June 15th. All the jobs are filled. So, if they don't think it's going to work, you got to let them know and say, hey, if you want to interview before then, we'll keep it quiet, but we'll give you permission to do so. I would hope that happens because you don't want to screw the guys over. And we're not bringing you back, but then we're not going to let you interview. Like that's like I know you can do it because technically you have a contract, but it's probably not the best way to go about it. I wouldn't think.
Yeah, the game. I mean, that part of it's hard too, right? Because there's, like you said, I mean, new guys come in and typically want their guys and who they feel comfortable with and have relationships with, and so I'm sure there's, it'd be interesting to see. I didn't know that Paul Coffey was coming back. Obviously, he's more than deserving to come back. But on the other hand, it wouldn't have surprised me for as well as they've done if Knobloch decided to bring in some people that maybe he felt comfortable with, or to maybe, because I mean that's the beautiful thing that I think that Tampa Bay has done. That I think we'd all applaud. Someone that it's easy to get stuck in relationships and what guys have done in the past and. Now we got a guy in Tampa. That's why that's going to be an interesting story to follow this year is, when you take the emotion out of it, right? It's so hard to win in this game, and you go through so much as a group that, it is, you feel like you owe them something, but at the end of the day, it is a business. And,
to bring in different players,
but it's very hard to find that separation.
No, it's true. Let's get to Declan Kruger and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by the Hockey Heroes Society and their charity golf tournament featuring NHL alumni in support of the Hockey Heroes Society and the White Court Boys and Girls Club. The gala dinner is Friday, September 6th. Golfing goes on the 7th. If you want to get your foursome in or go to the dinner, go to hockeyheroesgame.com.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
And for your Sports 1440 update, we start with some trade news involving the Toronto Blue Jays, as the Seattle Mariners are requiring right-handed reliever Yimi Garcia from the Jays. The main return will be outfield prospect Jonathan Clase, catcher Jacob Sharp, also heading back to Toronto in the deal. Other pieces of trade news in the MLB, the Phillies have acquired outfielder Austin Hayes and will be sending reliever Seranthony Dominguez and center fielder Christian Pache to the Orioles. Another piece of Orioles trade news, as they are acquiring right-handed starter Zach Eflin from the Tampa Bay Rays, Tampa Bay receiving 3 minor leaguers in the deal. Tua Tagovailoa has signed a 4-year, $212.4 million extension with the Miami Dolphins, the richest in franchise history. CFL Week 8 action resumes tonight as Calgary takes on Ottawa, 5:30 p.m. kickoff for that one. MLB action in the day gets going in about 35 minutes here as the Guardians are in Philadelphia taking on the Phillies. Twins and Tigers first pitch at that same time. Later on in the day, we'll see the Reds and Rays, Padres and Orioles, and the Toronto Blue Jays, who are looking to rebound from a 13-0 loss to the Rays last night as they host the Texas Rangers. Kikuchi on the mound in that one, and a 5:07 first pitch. NBA news, as Russell Westbrook has signed a 2-year, $6.8 million deal with the Denver Nuggets, as expected following his buyout from the Utah Jazz. And the Edmonton Riverhawks will be in action tonight against Wenatchee. First pitch at 7:05 down at Remax Field. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll continue our conversation with co-host Sean Brown, and we'll ask 5 questions. I'm Declan Kruger, and this has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440 Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Rule number 62. Never miss a free pancake breakfast. It's unheard of and frankly a little upsetting. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instants, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days, because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCafe. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Excludes delivery.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514.
Thanks there, Jason. Everything okay? Can I drive you home tonight?
Your partner in power just skated onto the ice. EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Mr. Rooter sends his daughter to university.
You're sure you don't want to go to plumbing school?
No, Dad. I want to be a civil engineer so I can plan the sewers.
What a dreamer.
I have a surprise. Your dad, Mr. Ruda, is going to pay your tuition.
Oh my gosh, really?
Here you go.
Oh, coins. Why are they so dirty?
Well, it's every coin I ever snaked out of a toilet. You're welcome, sweetheart.
For an A-plus plumbing experience, call Mr. Rooter.
Move Water is your one-stop shop for all things water. From freshwater to wastewater, we've got the pumps and solutions to keep your water moving where it matters most.
Move Water, your water solution experts.
Visit movewater.ca today.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
Some people see their RV as a way to travel the countryside and explore the great outdoors. For others, it's more like a summer cottage. Sure, it's got wheels, but that doesn't mean that you have to roll it around all the time. And I know someone who uses his RV exactly like this. It's Rick Showers from No Bull RV. Hey, Rick, when was the last time you hooked up your trailer and took it somewhere?
Been years, Bob.
You just leave it in one place?
Well, you have to see our campsite. It's near Seba Beach. There's lots of privacy. It's a heavily wooded area, but very close to the lake, with full water and electrical hookup. So my wife, Deanna, and I enjoy cottage life with all its beauty and all the comforts of home.
And the RV you use as a cottage, did you buy it new?
Bob, what are you, nuts? I can happily find you an RV as nice as mine. Got dozens of them on the lot right now. And Deanna and I are living proof that you don't have to pay new RV prices to live the dream.
And that's No Bull.
NobleRV.ca.
Portions of this hour are brought to you by Crystal Glass. Your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all your residential needs. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
Pro sports, local sports, minor leagues, you got it all. It's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday continues on. How are you? Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Declan Kruger on a Positive Friday. As always, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. And the text line is humming as always, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our well inbox. Your partner in power since 1976, supplying the city of champions in all of Alberta with quality electrical gear. Book yours today, 24/7 at ewel.ca. We do have lots of different ones. Guys, do you think Keith had a shot at the job? Well, I don't think he ever got down to like final interviews, if that's what you're asking me. So now I haven't touched base with Keith in the last few weeks, so I don't want to speak out of turn, but my understanding was, after the season that those conversations hadn't gone on yet. So, Jeff Jackson's been there all year long, and you know what? You're entitled to make your own decision and bring in the people you want. That's what happens when you get that job. And sometimes it won't be the people internally. And for whatever, it doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means that for whatever reason, there's somebody else that you like. So, you know what? I'm sure maybe, well, I would guess it's frustrating for Keith. He's probably felt like, hey, I've done a lot of things and me personally, I could easily have seen, handing the job over to Keith Gretzky.
I think he would have. You're saying that he wouldn't have been down to one of the final few interviews? Because I'm saying he would have. Whether it was a legitimate shot, I think you would, go through the process at least. Because if you didn't pick him and you didn't give him the full opportunity, I would be choked.
Well, yeah, I don't discuss that. I mean,
right?
I don't discount that,
so I would think
out
out of respect, yeah, I would give him that for sure.
But if we talk respect, do you want to give him a fake interview just to make it seem like you're going to hire him if you know you're never going to?
but I feel like he's deserved it too. Like, it's not like he hasn't deserved it. So, yeah, I mean, his resume speaks for itself. I think he'd be one of the guys that would have been on the short list. And then you would probably make your decision.
We got a few people wondering about, hey guys, are you surprised that Woodcroft doesn't have a job yet? Was his coaching smoke and mirrors? Is asked from Lance. I don't think it'd be smoke and mirrors. He put in the time. Do the optics of the team playing very well after he left hurt him? Maybe. They had played well before the slow 2-9 and 1 start. Of course, how you interview matters. Who matters. That's just a fact. Like, look at Todd Nelson. Todd Nelson, in his last 4 years in the AHL, has won the championship 3 times. And that's with 2 different organizations. And he can't get a head coaching job. So, you know what? Like, what else can you do as a coach if you're like, well, my job is to make the teams win, and I win, and I still don't get a promotion? Like, what the hell's going on?
And a development league.
Yeah. So,
tough.
yeah, it is. Now, some teams in the AHL, you always have to look at who the rosters are. If you have way more experienced roster, you got a better chance. That's fine. But you don't discount the coaches who have good rosters in the NHL. Why are you discounting a coach who has a good roster in the American League? You still got to win. So, yeah, Todd Nelson's, to me, a perplexing one who's never been given a chance, right? Jay Woodcroft had a chance. I expect he will get another one. But remember Patrick Waugh? Patrick Waugh said, when he left, he goes, I thought my phone would ring. It didn't ring for a while. It took a long time. And so, Jay Woodcroft had all of last year off, which I thought was a smart move. But now you're at the point where out of sight, out of mind. So he probably wants to get back in at some level. And it might not be ideal for him, but he might have to take an American League head coaching job, because I think he wants to be a head coach. I don't think he wants to take an assistant coaching job somewhere else, because it's kind of weird, but in a way that puts you even further away than if you're a head coach in the American League.
Jobs they're definitely hard to find. And you do, as a coach, I think, have to, at some point, even if the NHL is your ultimate goal, at some point, sometimes you do just have to take a job.
Well, Jay Woodcroft did that already once, right? He went
know.
back. There's been a few others that have done it too.
Yeah. And it is, a lot of it is who he was deserving of a shot, but that was a guy that, was in the system, had relationships, knew the players, and it was the right fit. It didn't obviously work out, but, when you talk about interviews are tough too, right? I mean, and maybe that benefited him, being in an organization and hiring within, and then, maybe, his interview, I can't imagine all interviews being equal and easy, right? And sometimes you could be very, very good at what you do, but you might not come across overly great in that interview.
And, sometimes it's one, maybe you get 2 chances. And you know what, and the other thing is, you'll have your vision, because I know, specific for GM jobs, having talked to guys who have gone through the interview process for GM jobs, when they sit down, you outline what your plan is, right? You've researched the organization. Hey, I think this, and this, and this is what I'd like to do, and bring it in, and so the people that are hiring you, they like it. And in some cases, you know what, they might like one really good part of yours, but then somebody else has 2 parts they like more. And then they're like, well, maybe we'll just take the part of Paul's and add that to the other 2 parts over here. Right. That's how it goes. And it's hard to know who's the best person for the job. Anybody out there who runs a company, who has to interview people, it's like anything. You get better at it. It becomes more skillful. You learn, maybe you ask better questions than you would have the first time, yada, yada, yada. You find, because usually in an interview process, the person is there to show you their best side, right? They're showing you their best side.
Yeah.
So, and you can kind of dig in and ask people, but unless the person's like a real douche, it's hard to find out, even if you talk to somebody on a reference sheet, right? Like, now hockey might be different. It's kind of a small circle. Right, they kind of know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, and you ask their opinion.
It is a small circle.
But even then, Brownie, you could have somebody who in the circle maybe caught you on the wrong day, didn't like your sign, and he's like, I don't know. And now I think in the case of Woodcroft, there will be some that look and say, okay, he was in Edmonton. Now, they went right to the 3rd round the first year. Great. Then, the next year, lose to Vegas. I think there are some that will hold it against him. What happened in that series in the distribution of minutes and not putting McDavid against Eichel? Right? There'll be teams that, now I'm assuming, like, if it was me, I would say, okay, explain to me what you were thinking at that time. And any coach will be like, yeah, that I was thinking at the time. In hindsight, it was wrong. Right? I should have done it different. Because nobody's right every time.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I don't know anybody out there is right. Like, we made a lot of mistakes. It happens all the time. So you look and say, okay, try not to do that the next time. But he was a finalist right down to the wire here for the Columbus job, right? So you're in the mix, but it just shows you how hard it is in the fact that now, Woodcroft might have to wait a few years before he gets another job. Like that
might be too late.
Well, yeah, but it happens. Like, look at Patrick. Like Jay's advantage is he's young.
Yeah.
Right. So if he has to wait 3 or 4 years, it's not like, oh my goodness, now he comes back and he's a 60-year-old. And people are like, well, why'd you hire this guy?
But he also, Jay is going to be he's a better coach right now than he was
100%.
Right? Because of the experiences and stuff. Right.
Yeah.
So, a lot of it to do is when you're, when the GM, because you guys work so closely with so many people that you got to make sure the personalities mesh too, not just the coaching styles, because, you want to, just because you spend so much time together, the personality is a big part of it, right? Can I get along with this guy? Is this someone that we can, share ideas and, not ultimately, I think everyone has to be hired to be able to make the final decision.
Yeah.
I think the successful organizations allow that, but having conversations and being open to new ideas, I think would be very important.
Yeah. Like look at Travis Green. Travis Green was head coach, 4.5 years? He got fired pretty early that year in Vancouver. So he was off the rest of that season. Then he was out. He didn't even coach in the 2022-3 season. So that's almost 2 years. Then he had to go back as associate coach and then he's the head coach now, right? In Ottawa. So there's lots of different paths to do. Like Jay's hasn't even been a full calendar year since he hasn't coached. Like, it's not like it's a crazy long time out, but I'm sure he's got the itch now. And so I'll be curious to see, what he does this year as the season gets closer. Will we see him, does he do something to get in somewhere? Because now Travis Green, I looked at him and that's why I used him as an example. He got fired after 25 games. Jay got fired after 13. So fairly similar. Didn't coach the rest of that year, then didn't coach the whole season. So if Jay's off this whole year, doesn't mean he can't get back in the net. Now, Travis Green decided, hey, I'm going to go in as an associate coach in New Jersey, because there are lots of coaching staffs that do have multiple. And I think, as strange as this sounds, having the associate coach title instead of assistant coach is a little bit different.
It's also tough too. Like, I don't know I know Travis Green has a son that played in the AJ last year in Camrose. I know Jay Woodcroft has a young family. There's also that dynamic to it too. I think when these guys decide to be, career coaches, that, wives and family have the understanding that, you could be here today and gone tomorrow. But, that is something I'm sure that, he has to think about as well, right? Where, if I'm going to coach, is there an area or a place that I can get some security for my family? Because it's not an easy life. Like, I know when I was with the Oil Kings and Laxdal took the job in, with the Texas Stars, and he asked me if I was interested in coming, and I just thought, oh gee, I would have loved to have went, but I had a young fammy, and my son was just starting minor hockey, and we really loved where we were at in our life, and there wasn't a chance. My wife actually laughed at me when I even brought the idea up that I would even consider it, just because it hadn't been long enough of me being out of hockey. But she's so family plays a big part of it, and it's a big ask.
100%.
So does Woodcroft take a place maybe at a lower level where he gets a little bit more security, where he's still in it, still growing? That's not, there's the NHL is obviously the best, but there's a lot of good programs and organizations out there that, you can get your hockey fix.
Dude, you get hired as a college coach,
you're rocking.
Yeah, very true. 423, Jason Gregor Sean Brown with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. We've got lots more texts coming in our email inbox, 833-401-1440. We're going to talk a little green and gold. We had Ed Hervey on earlier. The Elks sticking with McLeod Bethel Thompson at quarterback. Can they get a win? They do have some great promotions if you're going to the game on Sunday. Also, the Riverhawks final homestand of the regular season. Anyway, a big one. We'll get to that and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
A premier hockey solution with a clear path for long-term development is proud to be entering its 8th season of independent borderless hockey, featuring provincial and cross-province competition with showcase style, regular season gameplay, and a strong commitment to individual skill development. It's an attractive option for those seeking family life balance. The Hockey Super League offers opportunities for both male and female athletes born between 2011 and 2016. Visit hockeysuperleague.com for more information.
What a season, what a ride. Congratulations on an incredible season from GS Construction. Whether you're a laborer, pipe layer, or pipe layer's helper, lead hand, operator, top man or woman, or water and sewer foreman, GS Construction has room for you on their team. GS Construction, celebrating 50 years of laying the groundwork of Edmonton and communities throughout Alberta. Let's get to work. Get started today at gsconstruction.ca.
Be melon jolly, not melancholy. Summer is ripe for fun, and some Booster Juice bestsellers are back in season. Watermelon smoothies, including the refreshing Watermelon Wave, a berry burst of strawberries, raspberries, pomegranate, and vanilla frozen yogurt, and fan favorites, Watermelon Explosion, a refreshing burst of bananas, mangoes, and pineapple, both made with watermelon sorbet and probiotic yogurt. All of the watermelon, none of the seeds. Visit a Booster Juice near you today or download the Booster Rewards app.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Why tee off at the Ranch Golf and Country Club?
A fun, unique layout offering premier conditions. The Ranch has been ranked as one of the top public courses in Canada.
Unmatched value. Score Golf Magazine rated the Ranch as the best value in Edmonton.
The service, from tournaments to special events to the pro shop. Superior service that makes every visit exceptional.
The Ranch Golf and Country Club, a laid-back environment where anyone can enjoy an amazing day on the fairways. For details, visit theranchgolf.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantor. We're excited to announce that we now have machining capacity in-house. With quicker turnarounds, improved quality control, and ultimate flexibility, call 780-436-2000 or email colin@cantor.com to find out more.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
As the Friday continues on, big sporting weekend. Oh, man, I can't wait for the Olympics. I love it. Well, maybe we'll go through like the schedule for you and some events that we've talked about, some of the athletes to watch in the pool and, you know, at track. And I love tracking. I don't care what events on. I love pole vault, high jump. Unfortunately, one of Canada's best athletes, Damon Warner's looking to defend in the decathlon, but he got an injury there. Not to him. The other guy's name is escaping me right now. In the decathlon, Cameron in the hammer throw, obviously DeGrasse in the 200, and then there'll be some other events. I just love watching all the track events and the field events. They're great. Swimming, I'm trying to think of an event that, well, okay, I'll be honest. Dressage, sorry, can't do it. I can't do it. I'm sorry, but it's just, and I tried once. I said, I got to give it a chance. I'm going to read up on it and try to figure out what I'm watching. And I'm like, no, like horse jumping, I can watch, but dressage, no, I can't. Sorry, anybody out there who does it. I'm not going to lie. I respect the dedication to it. I just don't. I don't see a lot of great athleticism in there. Like the horse, sure, but even then, and I saw a dancing horse in Costa Rica that was unbelievable. But
a dancing horse?
Oh yeah, so in Costa Rica, we went there for Christmas time, and they have what's called Festival. So that was like they celebrate Christmas, but of course it was very odd the first time I went because I'm used to Christmas and snow. Yeah. Well, there they still there's lots of people who celebrate Christmas there, but it's all sand and super hot, and everybody's wearing muscle, like Brownie would be rocking his muscle shirt and stuff on Christmas Day, so you'd probably love it. But so Festival they have a festival that comes down. It's kind of like a rodeo, but not really. Like they have Midway and different things, some rides like that, but they have their whole ring is like a ring that's just one circle. And so there, instead of like we have bull riding, you ride for 8 seconds, it's done. The next person goes in. There's somebody gets on the bull and you ride it for as long as you can. But anybody can get in the ring. And then because when the person either gets bucked off or finally jumps off the bull, then kind of the game is to see if any of the spectators who are in the ring can run by and slap the bull on the table, on the butt.
Yeah.
Well, being a farm guy, after a while, boom, I'm over. I was in there for it was unbelievable.
How many beers?
No. I only had like 2 or 3. Nothing crazy, right? But I was wearing, so I'd cinched up the Velcro on my sandals, and I was like, all right, so we're going in, and it was fun because but a lot of people don't know this, Brownie. Bulls, when they charge, close their eyes. Cows don't. So at the last second, like the bull, when he puts their head down, their eyes close. So cows are much more likely to get you than a bull ever is. Okay. And I can say that from experience.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
And plus, usually the cow charges you normally when they're protecting their calves, right? Yeah. The bull's not nearly as protective.
So did you touch the ass?
I did, yeah, once. The crowd, well, you run by and you got to kind of time it. He's looking the one way and then you just want to run by and, and the crowd goes nuts. So, yeah, it was kind of fun.
Really?
But yeah. So anyway, at Festival, they have that. But afterwards, it's kind of like the entertainment of intermission. Yeah. These guys came out on horses. And, like you've seen those dancing horses, but this horse is like doing like a whole dance jig. It was unbelievable.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. Like I would highly recommend anybody. You go to Costa Rica around Christmas time and you go to Festival in one of the small towns. It was such a fun time. Like the crowd's right into it, you know. Like there's things you learn that are when you're in those countries, it's just different than we're raised here where, you got to sign a waiver to walk across the street and there's no waiver sign. Like you go, because I remember saying, well, if you go in there, I'm like, if you go in there, trust me, I'm dumb enough. I'm willingly going in on my own. If I get hurt, it's my fault. There's no insurance to do it. And now they do have paramedics, but it's a very simple paramedics. So, because I remember there was one guy in there and he fell. And, the bull kind of stepped on him. Didn't look like he was hurt, but I think it kind of stepped on his leg. So obviously he's in pain. So the paramedic guys, whatever you call them, they wheel out there and they literally just come out with 4 guys and they just have like a spine board. Right now, they don't do the ABC, and they just get him on the spine board, pick him up, and then they inspect him in the back. Yeah. So now they're carrying him. But meanwhile, the bull turns around and starts running at him. Well, guess what happens? They just drop the guy in the spine board because it's every man for himself. And that's where I was just like, oh my God, this is crazy. Now the bull didn't come because a few other people tried to play like the clowns and disrupt them a bit. And then they pick him back up. And literally, as they go over to the end in the corner of the ring, there's this little 2x2 door that opens up, and you just slide him in. The door closes, and the show goes on.
I'm laughing too,
dude. I'm telling you, it was honestly for events I've been to in my life. It's still one of the most memorable ones I've ever been to. I love it. And the best part was a few of my buddies. their wives wouldn't let them come in. And oh, did I give it to? I always still see them like, hey, are you allowed to do anything fun yet? No. And I was just like, suck it up, Buttercup. Now they're city boys, so they probably like. I said, and finally asked one of their wives. I said, he didn't even ask to go in, did he? She's like, no, he didn't. I'm like, I knew it.
That I do find that was amazing when you're in Europe. The things that you can get away with there without a waiver. They had those. I remember these beer gardens they had, and they had like go-karts and different things that you could bomb around. The kids could bomb around while you were having a drink, and I thought it was a brilliant idea because you could go for a coffee and meet some friends, and the adults can kind of get something out of it, and the kids could get something out of it. But the kids would be bombing around in these little go-karts, and like they were amongst everyone, and they didn't have the same barriers. Right. And I was just thinking, like like you were saying, like, wow, you'd never get away with this in North America. You'd have to sign something, and
we're a little overinsured.
Yeah,
at times.
But yeah. Anyway, it's funny too when you're talking about the stretcher. Did you ever see that when that clip where I think it was Messier that gave Medano
when they dropped
the elbow and they have him in there? That's
one of
the
the
funniest
oh
clip
my
I've ever
God!
seen. If you haven't seen that, look that up.
That is one of the
what a bad feeling that would be.
My God. Well, it's like I've seen a few of the soccer ones. Those are classic, right?
When they're trying to pick them up.
And then he puts like his butt in his face.
Could you imagine?
Or when they got him to the sideline, they rolled him over. Oh, there's some of those are pure comedy though. Right? I'm like, is this a Keystone Cops right now? Like, is this for real?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you need a little bit of a laugh. For sure.
Uh-huh.
Hey guys, side note, do you know of any organizations in Edmonton that could use a hand taking care of evacuees or anything from Kevlar? Kevlar, it's a good question. I'll put it out there. I do not know the answer, but maybe someone listening can fill us in on that one. I don't know at all. So, hey guys, do you know what time Canada plays in basketball tomorrow? I'm pretty sure. I got to look. I think it's 1:00 our time.
I wouldn't know.
Deck, you want to check that out? I think. Is it 1 tomorrow?
It is, yeah, 1 our time.
1 our time. So, well, I don't even know who they're playing. I just remember looking it up. I'm like, I know they play tomorrow. I don't think it's France yet, is it?
Greece.
Okay, yeah. Like they don't have any easy games early on, but you know what? Hey, you want to win, you got to be good. So nothing wrong with that.
But it is cool with the Olympics coming up because it's not your traditional sports, right? I mean, you probably wouldn't watch horse racing or dancing in a lot of these sports normally, but it is something special about the Olympics that you get this kind of sit on your couch and, days like this where it's not overly, it's windy and rainy and it's not a great day to be outside. I do enjoy, sitting there and just watching the non-traditional sports that you're used to, watching. And I really appreciate, when you see Lori-Ann Muenzer and those athletes that put like their dedication to the sport, and there isn't quite the financial reward like there is in some of the major sports here, and just how passionate and how dedicated they are and how good they are at their sport is pretty neat to watch and kind of track.
Oh, I love, like, you watch volleyball?
Oh, God. My daughter's into volleyball.
Dude, it is.
Yeah.
It's unreal. Like the power that they generate.
Yeah.
And some of the rallies are outstanding.
Yeah.
I love it. I know everyone's like, hey, beach volleyball. Yeah, I think I like watch, like, if you watch beach volleyball on mute, we all know why you're watching mute, and I can totally understand it. But I actually, for pure entertainment, I like indoor volleyball better.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, you get the guys in the vertical, and like when they're spiking that ball,
Dude.
it's like, I like the libero, right? It's amazing with the power that they're hitting and how they can even find a way to keep those balls alive and keep those rallies going. It's when I was younger, I hated volleyball. I actually didn't like volleyball until my daughter started playing it. I was like, why are you playing volleyball? I don't even like this.
You don't like the bump?
I don't even like this feeling. I still don't. But I can appreciate it now, and now I'm a fan. And I
soft forearms, eh? It's like, ow!
It's just nothing ever felt right,
Well, that's fair.
But you know what? It's like anything. I was ignorant to it, and just never really got to like it. Didn't like the feel of it. But as I've gotten to kind of know the strategy and understand, the different positions and stuff, and as they get older and the rallies get better, there's a lot of athleticism, and then I really. Like anytime there's power in something, whether it's baseball, you have, Jose Canseco or Cecil Fielder, whoever. But when you have that element where someone's got they're setting up the big spike, I like that
Oh,
in any
great.
sport.
Yeah, well, it's like rugby. I didn't really follow rugby at all. My sister ended up playing for the Pandas, and I went and watched a few of their games. I was like, oh, it's a lot more physical than I thought, like right up close.
Oh, yeah.
And
Right
then
in those scrums.
Yeah, and then I met a few of the rugby guys and my buddy Mike Brown, so we went down to the rugby park and they brought in some of the, Canada and some big rugby events, and then you sit there with the rugby guys and you can, ask questions and they kind of explain what's going on, and you sit closer than any high level sport. When you're close, you just get such a better appreciation for how good it is. And I'm like, all right, like I'm kind of in. So now when I watch rugby, I can at least watch rugby and know what I'm looking for. Whereas before, I'm just like, you're watching. I'm like, well, why are they doing that? Now I'm like, oh, now I kind of understand why they're doing that. So it makes it better.
We were lucky enough. We sat on the sidelines at an Eskimos game. We had, or Elks game. They're Eskimos at the time. But I'm not the biggest football fan. But once again, sitting on the sidelines and actually hearing them hit gave me a whole new. I was like, why don't these guys play more? But when you hear the intensity and the sound, it was like, okay, I get it now.
Oh God, yeah, no, it's physical.
And that was the CFL. Could you imagine the NFL?
Well, it's not much different, to be honest.
Aren't those guys bigger?
Some positions are, but
yeah.
Wider field, you get a little bit more of a run sometimes. Like it is fast. Like you look at the O-line in the CFL, you're a yard off the ball, so that just gives you more time to generate the force.
Yeah.
Whereas if two guys line up and they're 6 centimeters apart, boom, right? So now you just got a little bit more force coming. So yeah, there are, I think, the top end guys for sure. There's a little bit more power there, but still, you get running. Once the speed's the speed, you're 205 or 208. I don't think it's gonna matter when those guys are bombing into each other.
Yeah.
It's you see the wear and tear for sure. It's there. Hey guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but Bowman was made aware of what happened, but was told by his boss that he'd handle it. Now, in hindsight, of course, he regrets not doing more. How many listeners would not believe or trust their boss when they say they'll handle it? Then go above the boss's head and report it to the police. I'm not sure, but who has the final say with letting the employer go? The owner, president, and GM. Maybe Bowman wasn't the guy that makes the final decision to let him go. I agree with Bowman being suspended because of his lack of actions, or this happening under his watch justifies it. Personally, I feel that most can relate to how the mistakes he made are understandable, and a lot of good people would have made the same one. I don't think he deserves all the heat. However, I don't like the hire because I feel there's better options based off what he did as an actual GM. I also could have predicted how controversial this hire would be and wouldn't want the drama or the distraction. That one comes from Mike. Yeah, I'd agree on a lot of that. I know a lot of people are looking at what he did or didn't do in Chicago, and I'm like, well, he was the assistant GM, so he's part of. He wasn't the GM that made all the moves, but he had to be part of some moves. I don't know what part, but he had to be part of some of the moves when you're the assistant GM leading up to it. Then when he's the GM, so here are some of the moves he made as a GM. Did he keep the main guys intact? Yes. Did they have to move some guys? Yes. Which happens. Johnny Oduya trade. Steal. Guy's a top 4 defender who was an absolute beast for them in 15 and 13 when they won 2 cups. All right. Michael Handzus, he got from a 4th rounder from San Jose, who was a good team, by the way. I still understand that trade by San Jose. Michael Handzus for a 4th rounder. What is he in the playoff run for them? He's their top 6. He's their second line center. That's a huge trade. That's a pretty important piece of your team. Antoine Vermette, 2015. Right. So you go down 3 or 4. He didn't need to make all the core moves. You're right. But he made the around the edge moves. And then did it last? Of course not. But we can paint that on all the guys. So if you look at Edmonton and you say, if the goal here is to win and make a move that helps your team, he has experience doing that. Now, hopefully he's learned how not to screw it over and, keep everybody too long or what have you. Fine. But like the Brent Seabrook contract's probably the biggest one where you look and say like the term just didn't make any sense. So, but hey, in hindsight, I get it. But either way, no GM has a perfect track record. I don't think it was nearly as bad as some suggest. I'm like, they won 2 cups. If you don't want to give him the first one, fine. They still won 2 cups in his first 5 years as a GM, and he made some significant moves for big pieces that helped round out the roster. So I don't see how you can discount that. Did he make some other mistakes? Sure, but those mistakes don't erase the 2 Stanley Cups. They just don't. Not in my books. And I still, as I said many times, I wouldn't have hired him. Not even sure as that. I just wouldn't have hired him for the distraction. And I felt like best GM job available in the league. Probably could go to someone else, but now he's hired. So I don't want to repeat it. I'm not going to say it after Friday. Everybody's, I think, who listens know what I said about it. Now my focus will turn to what are they doing as an organization to live up to their words of supporting survivors of sexual abuse, reducing bullying, all that sort of thing. And what are they going to do? And people say, well, how are you going to monitor that? It's going to be very easy to monitor it. Honestly, it's I'll call in organizations. Hey, doing anything with the orders? Are they doing anything with you guys? It's pretty simple. Won't be very, no, I'm not going to say it has to happen right overnight, but come the start of the season, there better be some action to the words.
Good point. I think that, I mean, when you look at Seabrook and some of the signings and holding on to guys a little too long, I don't think he's not in that situation with the top guys for the Edmonton Oilers, right? I mean, there are Draisaitl and McDavid.
Well, the Ekholm signing in 2 years will be the one, right? That'll be that will be the one.
You don't think he has 2 good years left?
No. But are they extending him then? Or
Okay, sorry.
Like Draisaitl's extension. I don't care who the GM is. No offense to the GM. We could have 99% of our listeners and myself say, hey, Draisaitl's contract is going to be between 4 and 8 years, and it's going to be between $13.25 and $14 million AAV. Now, wherever it comes in there, that's what the contract's going to be. I don't think it's going to be one that's going to shock anybody. Now, if it comes in at 8 years at 15, then people will be like, what? But other than that, if it comes in that parameter, I don't think that's a really hard. I can't believe they got this done. Like, wow, This is a magician work, right? Like, I don't see it.
I think the Draisaitl, the McDavids, those are the easy contracts. The hard contracts are the 3rd and 4th liners, right? Those are the value contracts. I think though. I mean, why would Draisaitl's contract be tough?
No,
he's
totally agree.
He's a proven player. He's got lots left.
What about I'll give you this one, and then we'll go to break. If you're the GM, would you wait for another year to sign Bouchard?
No, I would probably take the approach of what they did with Draisaitl. Lock him up, give him a long-term deal, and hopefully maybe.
But Draisaitl got you on a really good, what turned out to be a value contract.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get that with Bouchard.
Yeah, I guess you're not now. Yeah,
right.
That would have had to come the year before.
You would have had to sign him in January for that.
Yeah, I would look to sign him sooner than later.
Okay. Quick break. We'll return on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. We got 5 questions with Kruger coming up next.
Rule number 41: never challenge a goose in the Bow Valley. They run this town and they know it. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instance, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days. Because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
The summer road lays ahead. Your potential destinations are endless. Volvo Cars Edmonton gives you choice to match. Right now, lease a 2024 Volvo XC90 from 0% for qualifying loyal customers. Or save $7,000 on all new 2024 XC60 recharge plug-in hybrid models. All demo vehicles come with a free 10-year, 1 million kilometer warranty. No matter what you decide this summer will become, your first choice is Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
The Brick is serving up incredible deals on items in every department. Find up to 25% off dining and bedroom packages, up to 40% off mattresses, and up to $840 off sectionals and sofas. Also, from Thursday to Monday, shop our fantastic specialty 5-day deals and find everything you need to outfit your home this summer. Plus, on Saturday, July 20th, enjoy free pop and all beef hot dogs, specialty sales, and fun family activities. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Jonathan and Murray are friends.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. Except when they talk about which stadium is more fun in the summer.
Dude, Commonwealth has Elks Fan Park. Tailgating at its finest.
But it can't compare to the old ballpark in the River Valley. Riverhawks games are electric. But ask them who makes the best beef jerky in Alberta, and they'll tell you.
Wilhawk Beef Jerky.
It's the only thing everyone can agree on. So, Pick some up for your summer pregame snack.
Wilhock beef jerky, because you don't win friends with salad.
The Cheesy Burger Pizza is back at Papa John's. See what happens when you ask for it? Boom! Finally, it's on the menu again for a limited time. Get all the items in the Cheesy Burger Trio or choose between the large Cheesy Burger Pizza for $18.99, Cheesy Burger Papadilla for $9.99, and Bacon Cheesy Burger Papa Bites for $8.99. All made with sizzling beef, dilly pickles, ooey gooey cheese, and burger sauce. That's right, burger sauce. Get it before it's gone. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Cheesy Burger Pizza at Papa John's.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Christensen Communities. Have peace of mind knowing your loved ones are in the best possible hands. Christensen Communities have safe retirement living options across the province, now welcoming new residents. Visit cdlhomes.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$4.49. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Declan Kruger with you on Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. The Olympics are officially here. And, well, if you want to watch the closing ceremonies, I'll give a spoiler alert so you can turn the radio off for 5 seconds. Okay? Quick spoiler alert. Somewhere, Jason Strudwick might have had a tear as his favorite singer. Well, favorite snubber, Celine Dion, came back and sang.
I seen her in Vegas.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Good?
It was okay. Like, my wife loved it.
Yeah.
I was just, the fact that she's so iconic and
like she sings a lot of ballads, right?
Yeah, I could take it or leave it.
Yeah.
I was kind of looking at
it's hard.
People were loving it.
In a live concert, like ballad after ballad. I find I'm like, okay, great voice and everything, but you're right. I think for some people that appreciate it, awesome. Some people say, well, Gregor, 82 games to watch sports is too crazy. Not on this station, it isn't, but elsewhere, yes. You're probably right. You're probably right. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. Stop in this weekend at The Brick. And hey, you know what? You want to watch the Olympics in style and you don't want that lumpy couch anymore? Well, you can save up to $840 on sofas or sectionals this weekend at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, question number 1. The Elks are in action this Sunday. Seems like the third must-win in a row. Do you have a score prediction and a bold prediction for this one against the Ticats?
I'll go with that. I'd like to see Ford in there. Doesn't sound like he's going to get a chance to get in there, but I'll go with him. And I guess the bold prediction is they'll win.
That is bold. Jeez. I'm trying to think. What's another bold one? Here's a bold one. I guess I can say is that they'll run the ball for more than 60 yards. That'll be bold because they haven't done that all year long. A score. Oh God. Well, it's been defensive. Then it was an offensive effort. Then it's been defensive. So I'll say it'll be another highly scoring game. I'm going to say 33-31.
Question number 2. Sticking with the CFL, if you could have one QB wide receiver duo or slot back in history to run the 2-minute drill with, which 2 players are you choosing?
So do they have to be teammates when they did it?
So I thought about that, and yes, I'm going to say they did have to be
Fair
teammates.
point. I will go. This is tough, but I'm going to go outside of Edmonton. I'm going to go Conrad Holloway and Terry Greer.
Okay. Oh, I'm trying to think of I was going to say forward. I'm thinking hockey, but
the receiver.
The receiver. I can't think of the guy's name, but I was going to go with Flutie Flakes.
Oh, then there's Alan Pitts, Sapungus. Those are the two guys.
Sapungus.
Oh, all right.
Question number 3.
Didn't sound very confident.
Sounded cool.
Question number 3. The Dolphins and quarterback Tua Tagovailoa have agreed to a 4-year, $212.4 million extension, the largest contract in the franchise's history. It also includes $167 million guaranteed. What is the ceiling for this Dolphins team with Tua as their quarterback?
Well, I hope for his sake, the ceiling is a championship, because I think that when these contracts are signed, I think they're great, and that's a ton of money. And I think, we have, guys locally that are playing here, and the pressure that comes, you're always measured to that contract and the pressure that comes with it. I couldn't imagine how, if you're not winning, the media and the social media and the amount of people that would be on you, it'd be something great, and potentially could be so unbearable at times, right? So for his sake and for the Dolphins' sake, I hope it works out for them. And at the end of the day, I think the only way it works out is if you win an actual championship.
I think the ceiling for this Dolphins team would be an AFC championship. That's their ceiling.
I would agree. Question number 4. The Olympic opening ceremonies went earlier today. Outside, we've talked a lot about Canadian athletes' teams we're looking forward to. Brownie, please drop any if you would like. But outside of Canada, is there a country that you have a soft spot for and often find yourself rooting for?
I was watching a little bit of the ceremony of them coming in the boats there, and you could see some countries obviously have quite a few athletes, 100 athletes or whatever, and then you see the small boat. You got 4 or 5 in this little tiny dinky boat. And so anytime a country, that doesn't have, the same resources and, as many options as what some of the bigger countries have, I go for them. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about the Olympics. So yeah, I got a real kick out of that today, watching some of the smaller countries and some of the tinier boats, just as excited as the bigger ones. And the fact that they're there, knowing how much technology helps every athlete, and not every athlete, really has, it's not, I wouldn't say it's even.
Yeah. Well, you look at it, like the U.S. has the most athletes in the Olympics at 592. Canada is 10th with 315, and it goes down. If there's a country that I find myself rooting for a little bit, I don't know if it's country. Sometimes it's athletes I'll look for, but I don't know. I always like Ireland. I don't know why. I find the Irish, I like their accent, so I root for them. And Switzerland.
And question number 5, hypothetical Friday. Would you rather be trapped in West Edmonton Mall for 24 hours with a grizzly bear, a silverback gorilla, or 2 anacondas who are actively trying to hunt you?
That's a tough one. Pick your poison.
So if I'm trapped, you're saying which one would I want? The bear, the silverback,
yeah,
or 2 anacondas actively trying to hunt you?
Yeah.
It's easy. Taking the anaconda all day long. They're not that fast. Right? Yeah, I'll take the anacondas all day long.
They can they can come out of anywhere. Like all of a sudden they're out of the pipes or something.
I don't know. Do you want to be squeezed?
Yeah, but I'm just, dude, you got 24 hours. I'm walking around, I'm moving. The anacondas is only like the bear and the silverback gorilla can cover space a lot faster. Right? You are right. You're going to know where they are. You're probably going to see them or hear them coming. But the anacondas, you're right. It's a surprise attack, but they're going to have to move to surprise me. So I'm going up the escalator, just walking around, then I'm going down. You know what? How's the anaconda going to get up? So I'm taking the anacondas.
I'll go with the quick death. Maybe I'll go with the silverback gorilla, rip my face off, just be done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I want to be squeezed.
And here's the other thing. Do snakes swim? Do anacondas swim?
Yeah, they do. Anacondas are actually faster in water than they are.
Well, then I'm
land.
not jumping in the water for the anacondas.
Yeah, I'd be in that little I'd be in the little what was the sea lion?
So here's my question though. are the rides open, or is this like in a horror film where I can't turn the ride on? Because if I can turn the ride on, well, then you know what? You can just get in the swings and just swinging around. Now, after 24 hours, I might get sick.
The gorilla would get you.
Yeah, like a gorilla or a bear could climb that.
How's the bear climbing this? Do you guys not see how the
bears are climbers?
Bears are climbers.
But what is he climbing? I'm out in the swing. So once I get it up off the ground, he might climb in the middle.
Swing, you got to come back down. So every time
but no, because I would just lock it in. Like, you know how you have to put.
But is there like a perpetual motion setting on those swings?
But I would lock it in. Like, you put the piece of wood on the accelerator of the car, and it just
go gadget arm.
It just you would go right. You would go and you can start the swing. Now, obviously, I'd have to, from the time I press the button, I'm going to have to move quick to jump on one of the swings. And there are the swings now I've noticed that have the bench seat, so you can kind of curl up on it. Maybe I could last 24 hours.
I don't know. You ever seen, look up, my buddy saved a chimpanzee, wrote a book about a very interesting guy. And so we were talking about monkeys and stuff. And so he was telling me like how strong they were. And so I looked up, he gave me this clip on, it was like balding monkeys, gorillas on like YouTube or whatever. And if you ever see it, like they're so strong, obviously.
Like the silverback gorillas? Oh, yeah.
But when you see them without their hair and you can see the definition, like it was a pretty cool video of,
But Brownie, back to your answer. Like, you're not even trying, hey? You're just
I like how you just accept up. What a quitter. And you know what? Great. Because once
there's no fighting.
So are we in there at the same time? Because now I'm feeling very confident about my choice. Because once the gorilla eats,
I'm in there, Gregor.
Once he eats, he's not going to eat twice, right? Like if he feeds on Brown in the first hour, you know what? He's going to go sleep. He said he doesn't they don't feed endlessly. So I got a way better shot.
I didn't know if we're together. I clearly know I can out survive Gregor.
Here's the thing, bro.
I've seen his chin
with the growing monkey bum you got going over there. The girl is going to be like, is this mating season? What's going on over there?
This heat wasn't good for it. It was burning it. It's a little too low.
Like also, when you came, you were walking over there, and I was like, "Geez, is that Brownie? Oh my God, what is going on back there?" It's like you and Rashog. I can just see it. It's just like the little patch in the back is just slowly expanding out.
Yeah, I gotta you said, when you try growing it,
but you can get that spray. You can spray the back. No one could tell.
The problem is you can't really see it, so it's out of sight, out of mind.
True.
But
You're
thanks for
well, it's good from a distance. Well, now that the gorilla's coming, it's like, hey, look at that little chimpanzee over there. Let's go get him. What about you, Dak? What'd you take?
I would probably choose. I think it's like the most dangerous, but I would choose the silverback gorilla just because I don't mess with bears and I don't mess with snakes.
Well, Lindsay has a very good point. Are you too dumb? Just put your skates on and skate for 24 hours. Fair point. The snake's definitely not coming on the ice.
Yeah. I don't know about Gregor's skating ability. I got him on that one,
dude. Well, you are way faster skater, but I have the endendurance of the world's longest.
I don't know.
Game.
I've seen those little legs. I don't think they go too fast
or
too far,
dude. I don't have to go fast. I just have to go faster than the snake, right? Because I don't even know. Like now, the grizzly bear probably could get around on the ice a little bit. Not super fast, but better than the anaconda. Like the anaconda's not even coming on the ice.
Bears don't swim, do they?
Oh my God. What?
Bears? Grizzlies?
Dude, have you ever seen a bear fish?
Well, but they're on the side.
No. Oh my God, no.
They're not in. They're on a rock.
You've never seen a video of a bear swimming?
Well, no, I don't think I have.
Oh
no.
My goodness.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen them in the streams where they're sitting on a rock or something.
Bears are pretty stellar. They are unreal fishermen, though. Like, it's crazy to watch them fish. But no, they can swim.
Okay.
Like a polar bear?
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah. We're talking,
no, bears can swim.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So can ducks, just in case you're wondering.
Hey, it's positive Friday.
It is positive. I like it.
The abuse I take here. I haven't been here in a couple of weeks.
Well, that's why. I got to make you feel back at home. But what do you always wear a chain around your neck? Is that new?
No, I've always had this.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just curious. I thought maybe you got new. Well, I just see it's shiny all of a sudden. So I was,
No, I
was wondering that maybe I think you're maybe wearing a little bit looser neck t-shirt
This
today.
is the V-neck.
So V-neck. All right.
It's a weekend. I got to take my wife out.
Do you have do you take it out of your t-shirt?
No,
when
I don't
you leave
like
the
that.
studio?
That looks
and you
tough.
walk it down the front.
No, it's always
you
tough,
don't have like a big like cross or anything on the end of it.
No, this is from my mom. It's very
when
simple,
you skate,
small.
when you play, you didn't have that on when you played?
I used to play with it on, but it always get ripped off.
I was just gonna say,
yeah.
So I can't put it on. Just keep getting. Hey,
Yeah.
Mom, you know what? We're gonna solder it again.
For a long time to be, obviously I didn't play with my ring, but I used to practice with my ring on. I used to practice with my watch on sometimes.
What?
Yeah, and then I kept losing my ring. I would always lose my wedding ring. This is obviously rubber, and I've lost my ring so many times. I wind up not getting it back, but I would always leave it in different cities. And
What do you mean? It's a rubber ring?
Yeah, it's rubber. Yeah, so
Like
it's
it's always been made of rubber? Like the ring? Really?
Yeah, this is just a rubber ring. It's a lot easier. So now I never have to take it off. Right?
Yeah.
Playing sports, working out, no matter what you do.
So
it's
your
just-
initial ring was rubber, or is it now?
No. I
okay.
had my
Okay.
initial ring. I never took it off.
So
but
when you
then
renewed your vows, said, "Honey, now you know what? We're locked in. I'm getting a rubber."
it's
ring."
rubber. I
Yeah.
don't know what does this mean.
It's a little bit easier to get off. Is all I'm saying.
So it's a lot better now. Now it's like, because she'd be like, "Why don't you have your ring on?" And whether I took it off playing hockey or working out. So this is easier. It just stays on.
Yeah. Guys, just lead any of the animals to the seals. Mealtime, then nap time. Easy money from Darcy. Hey, well, good point, Darcy. Although I don't want to promote taking out the seals, but I guess if it's the seal or me, sorry, seal. Kind of how it goes. Brownie, have yourself a good weekend.
Yeah, you guys, everyone else too. It's good to be back. I won't be back next Friday. Taking off Thursday.
Hey, part time. We might start calling you part time. So it's nice.
Work
It's
on
all
my
good.
tan.
Well, yeah, let's go. Get on that. Let's get to Declan Kruger and Sports 1440 update brought to you by Albatross Roofing. They are hiring right now. They are looking for very specific people. Qualified. You need to know the SBS modified bitumen roofing systems. You can apply at roofingalbatross.ca and you will get best wages in and all sorts of great benefits as well.
The Sports 1440 update.
And for your Sports 1440 update, we start with the Toronto Blue Jays and trade news surrounding the team. The Seattle Mariners are acquiring right-handed reliever Yimi Garcia from the Toronto Blue Jays. The main return will be outfield prospect Jonathan Clase. Another piece of the trade heading back to the Blue Jays is catcher Jacob Sharp. The Philadelphia Phillies have acquired outfielder Austin Hayes and will be sending reliever Seranthony Dominguez and center fielder Christian Pache to the Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles, in another trade, have acquired right-handed starter Zach Eflin from the Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa Bay will be receiving 3 minor leaguers in return for the package. MLB scores around the league right now. 3 games in action. Guardians lead the Phillies 1-0 in the top of the second. Twins leading the Tigers 3-0 in the middle of the second. And in the bottom of the first, the Reds up 2-0 on the Rays. Getting going right away here will be the Padres and Orioles. And in just about 2 minutes' time, the Toronto Blue Jays play host to the Texas Rangers, looking to rebound from their 13-0 defeat to the Rays yesterday. It will be Kikuchi on the mound in that one. Week 8 action in the CFL resuming tonight as Calgary and Ottawa get going in Friday Night Football. Kickoff in about 25 minutes here. And in the NFL, the Miami Dolphins inked Tua Tagovailoa to a 4-year, $212.4 million extension with $167 million guaranteed, the richest deal in franchise history. NBA news as Russell Westbrook, as expected, has signed a 2-year deal with the Denver Nuggets worth $6.8 million. The deal coming after he was traded and bought out by the Utah Jazz. Edmonton Riverhawks in action tonight as they take on Wenatchee. First pitch for that one, 7:05 down at Remax Field. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll hear from Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Lowetide from the Lowdown with Lowetide right here on Sports 1440. I'm Declan Kruger, and this has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Hey, Elks fans.
Jackpot! Touchdown!
Get on the Elks Party Bus for every home game at On the Rocks for only $35.
Included is a game ticket, round-trip transportation, and a prepaid Coors Light.
Reserve your spot now at ontherocks.com.
And OTR is your go-to for every Euro Cup game.
With $5.25 Heineken.
Their first major trophy.
It's the ultimate
Football
experience.
Canadian or European.
Only at On the Rocks.
Jasper Ave and 118th.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
CW Eves Troughing is busy. That's why they're looking for experienced troughers to run one of their trucks. To get paid top rates, contact CW Eves Troughing at 780-435-1492 or email info@cweves.com.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the word. Oodle Noodle time. Oodle Noodle time. You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance. Your best time of day is Oodle Noodle time.
For over 65 years, Denham Ford has delivered the customer service and value that keeps Albertans moving. And nothing moves Albertans better than Canada's best-selling truck, the Ford F-150. Here now with rates as low as 0% or savings up to $17,000. That's the value you've come to expect from where cars always cost less. 0% or $17,000 off F-150s. Only at Denham Ford in Wetaskiwin or at denhamford.ca.
We're Johnson, whoa.
Hi, Dennis from Lease Johnson. Everyone loves summer, but it's hard to enjoy fun in the sun when you're exhausted. Tossing and turning all night long, one can't sleep when you overheat. So cool things down with a new Goodman air conditioner, installed by the pros from Lease Johnson. Your family will enjoy comfortable slumbers for years to come with a Goodman air conditioner in your home. Lease Johnson, serving Edmonton and area since 1977. Visit wjcools.com today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass. Your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all your residential needs. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
It's not just another pair of glasses. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for checking out Edmonton Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We continue on. Positive Friday, another great weekend for all of you sports junkies. So much to do. Olympics are here. You've got Riverhawks game tonight, tomorrow, Sunday afternoon. The Elks Sunday night. You could do the double dip, Riverhawks and the Elks, 1 p.m. for the Riverhawks, 5 p.m. for the Elks. So be a lot of fun, whatever you're doing. Look forward to it. Should be great. Also, Jays, you've seen a lot of big trades coming down in MLB. The Mariners probably so far with the biggest splash, I would think. So we'll see what comes from it. Now, let's get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction as they continue on through a busy summer. Remind you that underground infrastructure, well, maybe not sexy, is very, very important on day-to-day commutes and in your household. Learn more at GS Construction. As we welcome into the program, Mark Spector. Spec, how you doing?
Doing okay. We
doing Olympic events already? I would think we would be tonight, eh?
Well, the Olympic events actually started on Wednesday with soccer, and then
With some soccer,
and a few other prelims.
Match here.
I don't think there's any other tonight. I have to double check the schedule because you got to remember that it's already it's like midnight now in Europe, so I don't think there'll be any live events. So they're all coming tomorrow. The medals already get started handing out tomorrow. I know. I think McIntosh has a first chance to go for a medal tomorrow in the pool. We have men's basketball at 1 p.m. tomorrow. So I think tonight, like if we're specific, I think the first events get going at around midnight our time, maybe 1 a.m. So for the Friday night partiers, come home from the bar, you're like, hey, the Olympics is on. All right, here we go.
I know, being over there, you're always up at 6 o'clock in the morning because your event starts. Some event somewhere starting at 8 for sure. And it always takes ways to get there, man. There's, the traffic and the buses and the media transportation and all that stuff.
Yep. So men's surfing actually is coming up. The shortboard will be the first one tonight at 11 p.m. It looks like our time. So there you go. That'll be the first one on the docket, and then everything gets going. There's badminton early on, handball, rowing, shooting. Everything gets rolling tomorrow. Is there a sport or two that is must watch for you?
I don't know about must watch. I've said this before to you. I think I just love about the Olympics the chance to watch stuff that we only watch every 4 years. I don't need to watch tennis. I don't need to watch golf. Golf's on every weekend, man. Who cares? Like, I love, team handball. Like, man, you go watch some team handball. I think it's the coolest sport. We don't have that. I mean, I guess we have it here, but no one ever watches it here. I love weightlifting, like the big boys lifting those giant weights. I think that is so. I went and saw the super heavies one time, the gold medal final in Athens, and it was the coolest scene ever, man. All these swarthy Bulgarians and Iranians and all these guys packed in this dark arena, and they're all weightlifting people, and they know all the terminology and all what's going on. I have a hot clue what's happening. I'm just watching the big boys lift these giant weights, and the bar looks like a piece of licorice, like it's hanging. It's all bent, and I love that stuff, man. So I don't really have a favorite. Table tennis is really cool. Like, how can you not love watching these guys hit the ball that hard and then return it, So I like all that stuff, man.
Yeah. Swimming gets going at around 3 a.m. I'm looking at the schedule for tomorrow. Gymnastics, if that's your thing, at 3 o'clock. So, actually, it looks like the first medals will be in shooting for the 10-meter air rifle team, bronze, and that's about 2:30. So lots going on tomorrow. So should be a lot of fun. It just heats up. And then, of course, if you're not an overnighter, you get up in the morning, lots of stuff's on tape delay. And so if you stay off your phone, it's like you're watching it live anyway, which is great.
Yes.
A few things, Spec, Canada now, it started out, she was going to sit out one game, then Priestner, now she gets sent home. Turns out, Spec, that this has been going on for Canada now, dating back to 2021, that it seems like this was just part of what's, Canadian soccer was doing. And so she can't be the only one. And so she'll get suspended, and she might be the sacrificial lamb, but this might go a lot deeper and higher than just her by the base of some of the early reporting we saw yesterday night.
Yeah, the thing that we hope is that this doesn't come back to the gold medal that the Canadian women earned at the last Olympics, right? And there's every chance that it could. This is, if they cheated, I mean, and I'm not even the players, to me, like, watching a drone over practice is really helping the players. Christine Sinclair's statement today was pretty plain, right? She said she attended every game and every practice for however long she's been around, which is forever.
Yeah.
And she said, we never once saw film footage of a drone or anything referencing that. We didn't know about it. They never used it around us players. So why were they even doing it if they weren't showing the players? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. Listen, any of the administrators that get canned because they're part of this thing and they knew what was going on, good riddance, man. I don't want that guy in my program anyway. They've embarrassed Canada.
Yeah.
But I'll feel awful if this thing reaches back to the 2020 Olympics, and our girls who earned that gold medal somehow get stripped of it or something. That would be a real sad thing.
Yeah. So, well, we'll have to wait and see and monitor it. It'll definitely be, it's a story that's not. I don't think it's going to go away quickly. So we'll see where it goes. It's definitely a head scratcher. I just don't understand what's the reasoning to do it. And if it's just Bev who takes the fall, I know that Canada Soccer's there was lots of issues with funding and everything else like this, and so there's. I never understand why, who comes up with the idea, and because there has to be multiple people who believe it's a good idea. That's the part that always boggles me. It's not just like there's some big dictator here that has, hey, you're doing this and you're doing it, and okay, well, geez, we better listen to the president of the soccer association. I don't even know who it is because they don't yield that much power. So this is one where you get multiple people who sit around and be like, yeah, this is a good idea. It's stunning to me.
Where is the guy who stands up in the meeting and says, wait a second,
what are we doing?
Totally dishonest. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Right. What are we doing here? I agree. And, listen, I think that there's a parallel to, we've all spent the last week talking about Stan Bowman. And I just read the Jenner Block report again the other day. And, there was a 3-week period where the Blackhawks sat around and got nothing done on this when they should have done something immediately. And they should have, someone needed to be the big boy who stood up and said, no, we're not waiting till after we win a cup here.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And there's a big group of grown adults and not just one or two guys here, not just Bowman, not just Quenneville, a whole bunch of guys. And nobody stood up like you're saying and said, hey, wait a second, stop. What are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And you do wonder, Jay, what kind of culture, makes somebody who's thinking it not have the courage to stand up and actually say it and do it.
Yeah. Especially for this drone thing. Oh my goodness. It's I get how sexual abuse is very uncomfortable for a lot of people. A drone, there's no discomfort here, right? It's a goddamn drone, for goodness sakes. This should not be a hard conversation. I'm not excusing anybody who doesn't talk about sexual abuse. I'm just saying that's a hard conversation for people to have. The drone is what are we thinking here? This is very simple.
Yeah. We've got the best team. Why are we cheating? Even just the other day.
Even if you have the worst team, what are you doing?
Yeah, well, even if you have the worst team, but just the other day, I watched them play New Zealand. They're a way better team than New Zealand, right?
Yeah.
What are you trying to cheat to beat New Zealand? That's like the Oilers trying to cheat to beat San Jose. Just play the game. You're going to win, right? What are you doing?
I can tell you not all the time, Spec. I have 4 months of hair growth that will say otherwise, but yes, I get your point, and it's for the most case, it's probably true. But God, one of those pictures came across. Someone sent me one the other day, and I was just like, oh God, got the shivers. Yeah, one of those. It's like a bad dream.
You got the shivers.
Yeah.
Tracy got the shivers even worse.
Oh yeah, trust me. Yeah. Wasn't a lot of activity going on at that time. No, it's all good. It's all good. There's another one that I can't blame anyone but myself. I was an idiot who made a bet with himself, with no one else. There's nothing to gain. Right? So, yeah.
Yeah. Funny how we learn things sometimes.
It's true. It's never a guarantee, although there might be. I have zero confidence again. Right now, I'd probably pick the Elks to lose more than I pick them to win at the rate they're going. I don't even know what to expect with them because defensively, 2 of the last 3 games, they're pretty good in BC, pretty good in Ottawa. Offensively at home against Ottawa, they're good. And then the other game, not so much. So I don't really know what to expect. And then the kicking game right now, oh my goodness, it's like Forrest Gump. It's like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get when it comes to the kicker right now.
Well, I think we'd all agree, there's 3 facets to football: offense, defense, special teams. And generally speaking, if you win 2 of the facets, you got a great chance of winning a football game. That's simple. I get it. I'm simplifying it a great deal. But the Elks are a team that when the offense was good, the defense and the special teams weren't. And when the defense has been good, the offense and the special teams have been bad, right? Yep. And that's an inconsistent team. That's a bad football team. They can't No, they don't have consistency in any of the three facets to say we can count on this facet showing up. They can't count on any of them showing up. So until they get to the point, they got to win the defensive side of the ball and the offensive side of the ball once in a while at the same time, not a week apart. And then you got a chance of winning. And no, you can't have a kicker missing 30-yard field goals and a guy you can't count on. Boris Beatty's got to pick it up or get replaced. That's simple as that. It's pro sports here, man.
Yeah.
And I've been saying this for 20 years, but a guy who can return a football, a punt once in a while wouldn't hurt. And this organization just hasn't had that guy for literally 30, 25 years, whatever the number is. I mean, oh my God. How about a return man? Isn't the States, aren't those Div 2 and 3 colleges just pumping out little guys like that, Pimpleton and people like that? Like, are you telling me you can't find anyone that can return a punt around here?
Well, Leake's pretty good, but hasn't been able to. Then maybe their blocking schemes aren't, but he's actually had some pretty good numbers in the league before. So they need
playmakers, right? We talked about this, you and me. They need playmakers. Figure out who your playmakers are and put the ball in their hands. And maybe you don't have any, then go get some. But maybe you have them and they're not getting the ball enough. But they need playmakers. They need somebody to make something out of nothing here. And we're just not seeing it. We're not getting, a play that didn't look like much that turned into what? You're just not seeing that with the Elks.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. Mark Spector joins us. Spec, have yourself a great weekend. Do the Elks get a win, or does this stretch to consecutive 0-7 starts to the season?
Well, Hamilton's the next bottom team in the league, correct?
They are, but they've won one in a row.
Well, they won one in a row. I guess I'll say to you, you got the next worst team in the league in your own ballpark. You're 0-6, you're due to win. I'm going to say they're going to put two facets out of the three together and they'll beat Hamilton. It'll be a hard one to swallow if you can't beat Hamilton in your own ballpark. It certainly will. I think we're past bad luck here and we're on to bad football. They got to play some good football. Forget about the luck, man. It ain't about luck anymore. They got to play better.
Spec, have a great weekend, my man. We'll chat with you on Lindy.
All right, don't make any bets, Jay.
It's true. I won't. It's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. When we return, gentleman who has made a few wagers in his lifetime. Not many of them have paid off, but he still does it. Lowetide will join us. We'll talk a little Olympics. We're also going to talk. He had an interesting article today that we're going to break down next on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Remember, it's Positive Friday. $70 million up for grabs in Lotto Max and 12 Max Millions. Some good odds. Good luck. Remember, the unwritten 1440 rule. If one of you win, host a party for 1440. Because we will too.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCafe. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Excludes delivery.
The summer road lays ahead. Your potential destinations are endless. Volvo Cars Edmonton gives you choice to match. Right now, lease a 2024 Volvo XC90 from 0% for qualifying loyal customers. Or save $7,000 on all new 2024 XC60 recharge plug-in hybrid models. All demo vehicles come with a free 10-year, 1 million kilometer warranty. No matter what you decide this summer will become, your first choice is Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest. Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
The Brick is serving up incredible deals on items in every department. Find up to 25% off dining and bedroom packages, up to 40% off mattresses, and up to $840 off sectionals and sofas. Find everything you need to outfit your home this summer, from kitchen appliances and dining sets to mattresses and electronics. Take advantage of our amazing block party prices and fun family activities. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Albatross Roofing. They're looking for experienced flat roofers and sheet metal fabricators. You must have experience with SBS modified bitumen roofing systems, and you can apply at roofingalbatross.ca.
He's not just another pair of glasses. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for checking out Edmonton Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Another week, almost in the books, man. It's flying by. I hope you're making your way home safe on a lovely, positive Friday. Last thing you want now, hey, you made it. You're this close. Serenity now. Give yourself a little space. Turn out the brass bonanza. Get home. You're you know what? Maybe your barbecue's calling you. Maybe your coach after a long week. Hey, maybe your bar stool. You got some friends you're going to meet up. Maybe a big date. Tonight, good luck if you're on the date, though. All right. Play hard to get, gentlemen. Smart move. It's always a smart, but not too much. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. You know, that's LT strategy now. Seems to be working for him quite well. As we get to the oil report, brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton.com. They are Canada's #1 Volvo dealership, 13-time Excellence Award winner in service and sales. And right now they got some great deals, including you can get $1 million 1 million kilometers on any demo vehicle warranty, because you know it lasts only at Volvo Cars Edmonton.com. As Alan Mitchell, host of The Lowdown, noon until 2 every weekday here on Sports 1440. Joins us, LT. Good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm very well. The weekend is here. It's been a long, unusual week for everybody, I think. And I liked your, 3 car lengths or whatever the devil you were talking about. Get home safely, put on the brass bonanza, and go crazy. Nothing wrong with that.
No, it's it's a good time, man. Fire up the weekend. It's great. The Olympics. Al, what's your favorite Olympic sport? And then is there one that you're just like, okay, I can't watch it pass?
There's none that I can't watch. I love watching any sort of competitive sport because, athletes are brilliant at whatever they do. I guess, in terms of, I love the pool. I love the track of the pool mostly, I guess. That's just because these are fantastic athletes. They just are. And so I would say those two. I like how often the word repechage will be used in the next 2 weeks. Oh,
big rower.
Yeah.
So will you actually watch dressage?
I mean, it depends on what's on. Like I love the atmosphere of the Olympics, and the way it's done usually is you go from one discipline to the other. So if you turn the channel, you're going to miss something you love, right? So, I mean, I don't. It's like I just feel like if these athletes have spent 4 years working on, becoming the best in the world, that, I can spend 4 minutes watching them until the next item comes on.
Okay. Well, I just saw it. I tried it. I've done all the I can't get into it. It's the one that I struggle with. I'm just being honest. Sorry to all of the dressage people out there. It's just a select audience. I totally understand. That's fine. The people that do love it, awesome. That's great. I tried. I can't get into it. It's hard. It's hard for me.
Well, you did your best.
Mm-hmm. Like, I've given it a few goes. I just can't do it. So I like pretty much. I'll watch any other one. That's the one, and that's fine. There's, as you said, there's probably lots other on, so I don't have to worry about it. I can watch them, no problem. So that's good. Al, you had the article about the hiring of the Oilers GM and the history of it, and kind of where they go. The hiring's being done. I think we've written lots about whether we agree or disagree with it. So now you kind of move forward on what's your expectations from a GM, like outside of the other stuff, which I think is very important, but we've talked about that. Like do you see anything really happening GM wise that isn't obvious? Like Broberg, Holloway contracts, I don't see very being difficult. Draisaitl, it's 13 to whatever, $14 million, picking between the number and the term, 4 years to 8 years. Obviously Oilers and their fans probably want 8, maybe even Draisaitl would want 8. That's pretty good security, but he is one of the elite players in the league, and I doubt in 4 years he's going to be falling off a cliff by any stretch.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. I don't think this summer, especially, there's going to be a lot of, unusual transactions made by the Oilers. All the work was basically done and done well without a GM. But I think that one thing, and I don't know if it's the Chicago Blackhawks or Stan Bowman, one thing he was very good at, or the Hawks were good at when he was there, was picking up European free agents who were plug and play and really good. I mean, really good free agents. And I don't know whether it's a Chicago Blackhawks thing or a Stan Bowman thing, but I would be interested in seeing what happens next. What is that, April, when their contracts end, something like that.
Yep.
It's somewhere around the spring, the start of spring, maybe a little later. I'd be interested in seeing if the Oilers get into that area of, not that they haven't in the past, but the Blackhawks got impact guys who were, top 6 forwards, good defensemen. They were very good at it. And I'll be interested in seeing probably next spring. People have to wait until then, but I think that's one area I'll be watching for.
Do you think Keith Gretzky will stay in the organization at the conclusion of his deal, just 1 year?
Hard to say. I know that a lot of people I had talked to thought that he had, was deserving of it. He certainly put in his time. It depends on what's out there, I guess. At the end of this thing, we don't know. I have to say that before Todd McLellan got here, Todd Nelson was the coach in the minors, and then coached very briefly with the Oilers. And since he coached the Oilers, he's been a brilliant coach in the AHL.
Mm-hmm.
And every year I go, man, that guy's going to get a job, and he never does. So Gretzky, has a really good job, and clearly he's very good at it, or he's done it for some time. But I think that it would depend on what's out there. For me, I always assume that the individual will stay if the team is having success. The Oilers have had success.
Oh yeah.
So I would say that my guess is he would stay, but I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Like you always wonder, Bowman comes in, Jackson's new, Bowman's new, right? That's can potentially lead to a lot of change, right? It's historically how it works in a lot of organizations, and we'll find out about that. But I am curious because I don't want to give Ken Holland all the credit, but I don't discredit him because he's the one running the ship, and the team he took over to the team he built now, it's infinitely better. There's not even a debate. So, but you had guys in there, Bill Scott, Keith Gretzky, Brad Holland, they're part of it. So if Holland's gone and then, the other Holland and Gretzky's contracts are done, and then all of a sudden if they go out, you're like, well, geez, that's 3 parts of, top 4 positions for an organization was pretty successful.
Yeah, exactly right. You want to have continuity, and I think that I was very interested in seeing what they would do with Colin Chalk. It was not a successful year in the AHL. Part of it was that, in all honesty, the Oilers had a lot of young wingers. Borgo has been traded. Carter Savoy is headed to Finland. They've pruned that group quite a bit, but they had a lot of young wingers who were not successful, and the expectation was they were going to play, but you can't play all of them. So the team, I think, looks a lot more structured now. They've got some nice talent down there. I'm very excited to watch Noah Philp play, come back to the game. I think he could play in the NHL, maybe later this year, depending upon how long it takes him to get ready. But he was very good a year ago, and then he did not play last season. So I think Chalk's got a better chance. But the organization could have flipped him out and brought somebody else in. They didn't. So I think they're, they have pruned a little bit. They got a new amateur scouting director in Rick Tracy last summer. They've done a little bit here and there, but I don't think that they want to flush everybody. I doubt that they would.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Like, it would be odd, but Jeff Jackson has been very clear in what his vision is, right? He always uses best and best. So it sounds like they're always looking now. And if others become available, they're not going to be afraid to act. And maybe that's not a bad thing. Change can be good depending on what the change is. Sometimes, obviously, it can go down the wrong path. So we'll see. I'm just kind of curious about that. Now moving to the Elks, change doesn't seem to be anything that they're interested in right now. I wonder, maybe it's not until they're 0-8 that they want to play Ford or not. And again, I know that he's not going to solve all their problems, but it's professional sports. And at some point, winning has to matter. So I look at this game. We saw Ford come in for a few series last week. So I have to think he's going to get some, even though the quarterback voiced his displeasure in, at what time of the game he came in. So I'm kind of curious. Obviously, if it's a blowout either way, then he will come into the game. But I think it might be better. I know that, Bethel Thompson says it ruins his rhythm, and, I've never been a quarterback. Maybe I can understand it for a sense, but I don't think it should matter if all of a sudden after halftime now you sat down for 20 minutes, that your rhythm shouldn't have changed, or you should be able to get it back. And they didn't in the second half. So I'm curious, what's your expectation of usage of Ford on Sunday?
Well, I think they have to. I understand that, the starter wants to stay in, but he's 0-6. So I think you can voice your opinion, but your opinion doesn't matter as much as if you were 3-3.
Mm-hmm.
And Ford, the thing about Ford is he is a different style quarterback. You could put Bethel Thompson in a 1975 CFL game. I remember watching it, and he wouldn't be out of place. He got a great arm, throws a good ball, can a fairly precise fellow. But Ford offers a different look, and when Wilkie came out and it wasn't successful, they'd bring Warren Moon. Warren Moon wasn't a fleet of foot kind of a guy, but he had a different style, and I think it's a good thing, and I think that you have this young man, and there's a thought you're going to bring him along. Well, bring him along, and maybe you have one of the things that often happens when the backup quarterback comes in is the number 4 receiver suddenly gets all the throws because he's the guy that the backup quarterback's been practicing with, and that's okay too. But I think that along with playing him a little bit, they've got to give him some reps in practice, get him familiar with the A unit, as it were, and not that maybe they'll spend the entire year going back and forth, and maybe Ford plays 40% of the snaps the rest of the year. But you're 0-6. You better start trying something else, because this team is they're people are still watching, and they go 0-10. People won't be watching anymore.
Yeah, at some point I'm very curious about what the new owner's thinking and process is here as they get to cross the T's and dot the I's, and that becomes official likely sometime in the month of August. So, do
you plan on telling us if it's you, Jason, or the new owner?
Yeah, Al, I can say with 100% confidence, it is not me.
Okay,
wasn't asked. So, wasn't now again. I don't think I was in the financial wherewithal to do it. I do know some people who were part of a group that wanted to get involved, and it doesn't sound like they will be, which is unfortunate. But I also my understanding, and I haven't got 100% confirmation, but I think I got as close as I can to who it is. It's somebody who I think finances won't be an issue at all for the CFL level, and that is crucial. And so, spending helps Al. This organization's probably going to have to go dip in a little bit in the hole to dig itself out of it somewhat with proper marketing and different things like that. And they're gonna have to revamp maybe the whole organization as far as can you bring in better players like Chris Jones? We can talk about the coaching job, but let's just look at the personnel he brought in. This team isn't good enough, Al. They don't have enough talent. This is his third year. They don't have enough talent. They haven't improved the offensive line. It's gotten worse under his watch, right? The defensive line hasn't gotten any better. So, like outside of the receiver position, I don't see where they've improved.
Yeah, and there's always there's signs of trouble. I remember a few years ago, the at that time Eskimos, they were bringing in offensive linemen by the plane load, trying to find something that worked. The Elks don't have a lot of continuity, and part of the reason they don't have a lot of continuity is because the guys that they bring in are not good enough, or at least cannot pick up the CFL game quickly enough, and that is an issue. It is a problem.
100%. Yeah.
And along the lines, you have to be brilliant. And like I think they're I like their receivers. Honestly, I do.
Oh, no, the receivers are good,
and they've got a good running back, and they got to use them more. But I think it's there. But you've got to be able to be good on the lines. That takes a little time, but you got to have the right people, and that means great scouting on both sides of the border. And I think other teams are just better at it.
Al, have a great weekend. Enjoy the Olympics. Hopefully we got a few medals to talk about on Monday.
All right. Sounds good.
That's Al Mitchell, host of The Lowdown, noon to 2 weekdays here on Sports 1440. Jason Gregor, Declan Kruger with you. We'll take our final break, come back, wrap things up. We've got a lot of text to get to wrap up what has been an excellent, busy week on Sports 1440. It's The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
A premier hockey solution with a clear path for long-term development is proud to be entering its 8th season of independent borderless hockey, featuring provincial and cross-province competition with showcase style, regular season gameplay, and a strong commitment to individual skill development. It's an attractive option for those seeking family life balance. The Hockey Super League offers opportunities for both male and female athletes born between 2011 and 2016. Visit hockeysuperleague.com for more information.
What a season, what a ride. Congratulations on an incredible season from GS Construction. Whether you're a laborer, pipe layer, or pipe layer's helper, lead hand, operator, top man or woman, or water and sewer foreman, GS Construction has room for you on their team. GS Construction, celebrating 50 years of laying the groundwork of Edmonton and communities throughout Alberta. Let's get to work. Get started today at gsconstruction.ca.
The cheesy burger pizza is back at Papa John's. See what happens when you ask for it? Boom! Finally, it's on the menu again for a limited time. Get all the items in the Cheesy Burger Trio or choose between the large Cheesy Burger Pizza for $18.99, Cheesy Burger Papadilla for $9.99, and Bacon Cheesy Burger Papa Bites for $8.99. All made with sizzling beef, dilly pickles, ooey gooey cheese, and burger sauce. That's right, burger sauce. Get it before it's gone. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Cheesy Burger Pizza at Papa John's.
Albatross Roofing and Construction has immediate job openings for skilled flat roofers and sheet metal fabricators and installers. If you have SBS modified bitumen experience and CSTS certification, they want you. Get a great wage, benefits, steady work, and upward growth. Apply at roofingalbatross.ca today.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Congratulations of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. Professional athletes use aquatic therapy, radial shockwave, zero-gravity treadmills, and normatic recovery devices for rehab. Leading Edge Physiotherapy offers those to you. Sports shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Look good, feel good, play good. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for listening to Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.547. Recap. Hey, any more trades deck in the MLB so far today? We should probably recap it for all of our some of you playing fantasy in your fantasy leagues.
So I've been monitoring Jeff Passan pretty well and good here. The big one, obviously, Mariners acquiring right-handed reliever Yimi Garcia from the Blue Jays. Another big one between two contenders, Phillies and Orioles, excuse me. Phillies acquire outfielder Austin Hayes and will be sending Sir Anthony Dominguez and center fielder Christian Pache to the Orioles.
Really?
Orioles also making another trade. Orioles acquiring right-handed starter Zach Eflin from the Rays. 3 minor leaguers heading back to the Rays in that one.
And then late last night, Randy Arozarena is going to Seattle. So Seattle, that's 2 big trades for them now in 2 days. So they're obviously they're loading up for it, which is good. That Orioles Phillies trade's kind of intriguing to me. So yeah, just 2 top teams really that just say, hey, you know what? Why not? Let's make some moves. Probably not going to meet each other unless it's in the World Series. So it's probably a little bit better. But the Mariners and the Astros are locked in a tight race right now, both with 53 wins in the AL West. And, you know, the Indians are pretty comfortable. Baltimore and the Yankees look like they're probably both going to get in. We'll see. But it's funny, like, none of them are playing good right now. They're all like the Rays are actually gaining ground in everybody because they're over 500, whereas Baltimore, the Yankees, and the Red Sox are all under 500 in their last 10 games. So is Cleveland. So is Minnesota. Like even Houston. Like and the Mariners. Like I'm trying to look how many playoff teams in the AL are over 500 in their last 10 games. I think it's only KC. So it's kind of Tampa Bay is slowly creeping back into the race here just because the other teams are kind of all stubbing their toe. So maybe, but the Rays, it's funny, they're creeping in, yet they're selling off all their pieces. So obviously they don't believe they're going to make it anyway, or they feel like it's just a 10-game blip for all these other teams and they'll get back in it. So we'll see. Hey guys, shameless promo. The Oilers in-house brass band, the Brass Tactics, have an album release tonight at the Starlight Lounge. There you go. Check it out. The Brass Tactics. I like it. I'm waiting. Are you guys going to play the Brass Bonanza? Like, what do we got to get the Brass Bonanza? Maybe we should make a deal. Play like a live acoustic updated version of the Brass Bonanza. Oof. Could be pretty good. Not bad at all. Boys, love the reportage and the clean and jerk. Can't wait from Kevlar. Hey, guys, rubber wedding rings are great for electricians. Many of us have them from Close and Beaumont. Well, that makes sense, man. I totally get it. Now, for a guy like Brownie, who doesn't really work with his hands, it's a little bit different, don't you think? So there we go. So here's an update that's just coming down that 17 players on the Canadian national team were shown video of a close practice for Honduras' national team 2 days before the nation squared off in a World Cup qualifier in 2021. Then head coach John Herdman was aware and was leading the meeting. He's currently the manager of Toronto FC in MLS. Yikes. This story isn't going to go away. There's going to be some more people that are probably going to lose their job over this. I don't think it's any question. So not great. Hey boys, as for Bowman, if he gets Draisaitl and McDavid for anything less than 30 mil, that's probably a win. Well, Connor McDavid right now is at 12.5. right? So some people have said, maybe it goes up to 15, and I get it. Like right now, what's the highest? 13.5, or is it 13.6? I got to double check. Can't even remember. McKinnon or Matthews, whichever one it is. I think it's 13.5. But regardless, either way, there's McDavid could, and it's 13.25 actually for Matthews. So there you go. So let's say McKinnon's at 12.6. Draisaitl comes in, I don't know, 13, give or take. Now, if he wants to be more than Matthews, he probably could get it. Second highest score in the league over the last 5 years. McDavid's, he's coming off a $100 million contract. He probably is like, hey, what do you want, Connor? We'll make it happen. Right? Because I think he wants to win, and I think he wants to win more than once. So he's like, yeah, I got $100 million. I'll take only 15 mil, and I don't think anyone would blink an eye if that's what he got. Right? Like Connor McDavid, his next contract, does anybody believe he's going to slow down in that deal? If you look at LeBron James and you look at Sidney Crosby. Sidney Crosby last year had his third highest goal total of his career and his highest point total in his last 10 years. I don't see him slowing down. So, yeah, honestly, I think it would be a big win. And I think it's very plausible you could be under 28.5 million between the two of them, to be honest. 15, 13.5, maybe less. We'll see. But the Draisaitl contract negotiations will likely start to become a little bit more serious, I think, into the month of August. Everybody have a great Olympics. Enjoy all the viewing. Whatever you're watching, have fun. Please don't drink and drive. Don't be inebriated. Get home safe. Enjoy the night. Enjoy the Elks game. Riverhawks Friday, Saturday, Sunday afternoon. Elks at 5 o'clock. Stingers, their home game will be on Monday. So have yourselves a great weekend. We will wrap it all up. Talk about it on Monday. On behalf of Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. Here's Sports 1440 update brought to you by Ewell. They have been your electrical partner, supplying the City of Champions in Alberta with great electrical gear and power since 1976. EWEL.ca. Good night.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
And for your Sports 1440 update, a breaking piece of news coming down from Rick Westhead surrounding the Canadian soccer scandal. As 17 players on Canada's men's national soccer team attended a briefing on August 31st, 2021 in a Toronto hotel ballroom and watched as head coach John Herdman played a video that showed the Honduran national team's closed practice a day earlier, a source with first-hand knowledge of the meeting told TSN. Canada would go on to play Honduras to a draw as an intense Herdman urged his players to, quote, study the screen closely, according to the source. MLB news as the Seattle Mariners are acquiring right-handed reliever Yimi Garcia from the Toronto Blue Jays. The main return for the Blue Jays will be outfield prospect Jonathan Clase. Also going back to the Jays in the package is catcher Jacob Sharp. Another big trade in the MLB today as the Phillies have acquired outfielder Austin Hayes and will be sending reliever Seranthony Dominguez and center fielder Christian Pache to the Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles not done making moves as they are also acquiring right-handed starter Zach Eflin from the Tampa Bay Rays. MLB scores around the league right now. In the bottom of the fourth, it is the Guardians over the Phillies, 3-0. Twins up on the Tigers, 6-2 in the top of the fifth. Reds and Rays tied 2-2 in at the end of the fourth. Padres trailing the Orioles 1-0 in the bottom of the third. Braves up on the Mets 2-0, and it is the Toronto Blue Jays up 3-1 on the Rangers in the top of the third. CFL action right now. Calgary currently leading Ottawa 3-0 with just over 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. Other pieces of news in the sporting world today: the Miami Dolphins inking Tua Tagovailoa to a 4-year, $212.4 million, extension with $167 million guaranteed. The deal is the biggest deal in Miami Dolphins franchise history. Edmonton Riverhawks in action tonight, the first of a 3-game series down at Remax Field. First pitch at 7:05 as they take on Wenatchee. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Turn Sports is up next. Fox Sports Radio at 9. The Saturday sports setup tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., the basketball show at 10 a.m., and Monday morning, 7 a.m., Brandon Douglas and Kevin Carius will resume the proceedings with their show. On behalf of the whole gang, this has been Declan Kruger with the Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the